La 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 la. In the desert, blowing up.
Slash all videos and such. Okay, but that's just maybe media files? Last thing, you should probably redact
Last
dev
thing.
all the logs. I forgot it. She told me to do this. Bruh. We got a we got a big yikes bomb that we kind of dropped, unfortunately. Which one is it? Both of them? One of them? Declaration of Stephen K. Bonnell II in opposition to plaintiff's motion for sanctions under FRCP 37E2. I, Stephen K. Bonnell, I declare. I'm the defendant in the above captioned action. I am over 18 years of age. As I've maintained from the outset of this case, after receiving plaintiff's January 2025 preservation demand letter, I took steps to collect and preserve the relevant materials in my possession, custody, or control. Those materials included my Discord communications log and other communications and media records I understood to be relevant to plaintiff's threatened litigation. I have not taken any action with the intent to deprive plaintiff of any documents. I have produced all my communication logs, blah, 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 blah. All I'm saying, you can quote me again, Joan, I could have deleted all this shit, and I would have been within my right to do so. I could have deleted all of this and just said, oh, it was gone before litigation, I didn't know. And I would have been completely in my right to do so. Talk about awkward, though. I forgot I even had this shit. When me and Pixie were going back and forth after the leaks and everything happened, okay, please just make sure to delete any/all videos and such. Okay. But that's just maybe media files? Last thing, you should probably redact dev all the logs. I forgot it. She told me to do this. Bruh. I do not literally go insane while people online shut all of you for holding on to evidence while they are currently trying to sanction you for deleting evidence because, in the end, God is my shield. How often does your own lawyer have to submit declarations for these cases? Is that pretty normal for civil cases that your lawyer has to constantly submit his own testimony? It might be. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Who knows anything, though? Court case, filed February 18th. Last filing June 1st. This case has gone on for approximately 1 year, 3.5 months. And we are at 273 docket entries. Almost one entry every 2 days. Hell yeah. Prolific posting. Spam the docket. You are aware that a third-party archive, Russell Search, exists for Destiny GGG chat lines. Why did she ask me this stupid fucking question? Sure, a third-party archive can exist for anything, yes. And did you review those logs to ensure that the DGG data you produced in Discovery matches what is publicly archived? I produced everything that I was asked to produce, everything that was in my possession, I was able to, I produced. I can't speak to anything that is archived or managed by a third party online. I don't have control over those archives or over who is archiving what. That wasn't the question. I just asked if you reviewed the Russell Search archives to see if they corresponded with what you were... And that's okay. I don't have... Lady, I don't have that. I don't know what the fuck I don't even know what the fuck she's asking me here. But what the fuck even was my response to this? Hold on. That wasn't the question. I just asked if you reviewed the Russell Search archives to see if they corresponded with what you were producing. The Russell Search archives would span tens of thousands of pages. I did not review all of those before coming to this deposition. But you can do specific searches. I don't mean about this deposition. I mean before your document production. I don't recall having to search for my Russell archive. No, I don't. That was it. All right. Stupid. I can't take off the top. Okay, so there's a new page. I can't take off the top of my head how I deleted these messages. But you didn't archive them? I don't know off the top of my head if I did or did not archive them. I would have to go back and check. I can't recall off the top of my head right now. I don't know which one she was asking me for. Page 216. What was that about? Let's see. Let's go to Abby. I'm sure there are plenty of other people I've deleted messages with. Okay, let's look at, and one more question about this. You deleted these messages. There's no way to retrieve them when you deleted them. It would have depended on how they were deleted. If I used an archiving program, then I would have had a copy of all of those. But if I did have a copy of those, then I would have produced them as part of discovery for this case if they were requested. So how did you delete these? Your responses here specifically. I can't think of... I don't even know if I deleted... I'm not even sure what she's pointing at here. I'm not sure. But, okay. You thought you had archived them. The messages with Abby, I believe. So if you did archive them, you would still have them available to you to produce, correct? Correct? They would have already been produced for this case. I want you to look at your September 19th declaration, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 22. So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what's the screenshot of. Oh, this is where they're showing me the screenshot of, like, the, of whatever the fuck Abby's fucking butchered the screenshot they're showing me. Okay, let me start from the prior page. And then what time does Abby say she viewed the videos of Cherry and Pixie? Again, I can't, I don't know what this, I can't attest to anything related to this here. I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at. This screenshot that was submitted to the court, I don't know what it's, and accepted by the court in evidence. So I mean, I'm not entirely sure what it's a screenshot of, though. Well, it's a message to Abby. You understand that, right? And she's saying she received a sex tape of both Cherry and Pixie, and that she sends that message at 10:41 a.m. But you didn't send those two videos until 2:39 p.m. that same day. I can attest to the production that I gave for this case. I produced everything that was in my power to produce that I archived. I don't know what I'm looking at here. This was presented to me as an unredacted screenshot of some Discord conversations, but for instance, I can't read any of the message at 10:42 a.m. on this page, so I'm not sure what unredacted means. And there are huge chunks missing, so I don't even know if this is even Discord. I can't speak to this. I don't know what this is at all, unfortunately. Okay, but you also saw Abby's declaration to the court, where she said she received videos of Cherry and Pixie on November 3rd, 2023, right? I don't know if she said she received videos of Cherry. I think it was just of Pixie. Well, I'm going to represent to you the declaration said Cherry and Pixie, and this was corroborating evidence that was submitted later. I acknowledge that Abby wrote that on her affidavit then, yes. Is that part of this? Oh, this is later on. Well, okay, and I said, I acknowledge Abby wrote that on her affidavit, yes. Okay, and this shows that she received the videos on or before, because she already looked at them when she sent this message, so she received them before 10:41 a.m., right? I say, you can represent that to me, but this could be a picture with Crayola crayon, and I can't speak to anything on this page. I've already said what I have to say about it. I don't see complete messages here. It seems like some of this is scratched out. There's chunks missing. I'm not entirely sure what this is even supposed to be a screenshot of. Mr. Bonnell, we're not concerned about the later part of the message. I'm only asking you about the top part of the message, and the fact that she received the videos and viewed them prior to 10:41 a.m. on November 3rd, 2023, and you sent these videos purportedly of Peach later that same day, correct? And then Brettler fights with her a bit. No speaking. Objections, please, counsel. Joan, please stop. No, you please stop. I can read the sentence that is given to me on this piece of paper. I don't know how I'm supposed to tie that to the production that I have given, that I know to be true, that I can testify to, that I had in my possession, that I produced for this case. I just can't speak to this sentence at all. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm looking at. I'm sorry. You guys more or less see the evidence that she presented. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do with this. You give me like a half-page screenshot where half of it is like fucking you take a black highlighter and highlight it. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to say. And this is a message from Abby Sano. What the fuck do you want me to say? You want me to testify to what I'm reading on the weirdo fuck evidence that you've given me? Like, this is like quadruple fucking hearsay. I don't even know what I'm you're representing to me that she represented to somebody else in a message that I can't authenticate. You want me to represent what's in that message? Why? What the fuck am I supposed to say about this? What? Oh, I can ask her later before we move on. Can I ask for a quick clarification? On an earlier question, you presented that Abby screenshot. You said that was the unredacted version. Does redaction refer to a thing that only you guys do, or are you representing that this was the total thing that you received from the affidavit? No, when I say unredacted version, it's because when we submit something that's confidential and her name was protected by the court, it was submitted in redacted format to the court and then later submitted privately to the court. Well, I understand. So that was the exact copy that you were given? This is what was submitted to the court in unredacted format. And then Andrew corrected. That is not true. This document was never submitted to the court. If it was, you never provided us with a copy. We object to this document. It's a document that you created for the purposes of this deposition only. Which is true. Okay, sorry. This is page 226. Not archiving messages. Okay. Exhibit B. Damn! Top secret. This was the video of me banging your mom, by the way. From Andy B. Dear Joan and Carlos. This was September 22nd, 2025, last year. Have we already read this? Was this about the Rule 11 shit? Exhibit E. Joan Peters writes on May 13th, 2026. Ooh, just a couple weeks ago. Counsel, we write pursuant to Local Rule 7183 to confer regarding plaintiff's forthcoming motion for sanctions under Federal Rule Civil Procedure 37E2. As referenced in plaintiff's opposition to the motion, seeks finding that intentionally destroyed his side of his Discord communications with Abby MC with the intent to deprive plaintiff of the information's use in this litigation. An adverse inference that the deleted messages contain evidence that defendant transmitted the video of plaintiff to ABMC on or about November 3rd, 2023, and plaintiff's reasonable attorney fees and costs incurred in bringing the motion. The motion is grounded in defendant's sworn deposition testimony, his document production, and our forensic experts' conclusions. Please advise whether the defendant opposes the motion, and if you wish to discuss, please propose a time. Absent a response, plaintiff will proceed and state in the certificate of conferral that defendant opposes. Dear Joan, your proposed motion seeking spoliation sanctions is untimely and improper for a slew of reasons. First, the court set March 30th, 2025 as the deadline by which to file any such motion. Plaintiff blew that deadline. Second, Vinyl's testimony and document production demonstrate that he preserved all documents and evidence just because he did not preserve them in the format that you prefer does not support a motion for spoliation sanctions. Third, deposition testimony and document production show that only plaintiff and your other client, Lauren Hayden, are the ones who actually destroyed evidence pertaining to the case. Plaintiff admitted to deleting and altering her messages, and both she and Miss Hayden admitted to communicating about the case using the Signal app, which was set to automatically delete their messages. True. Finally, while you provide no details about your long-threatened motion in your meet and confer email below, to the extent it will be based on the testimony or theories of Jesus Pena, the motion is dead in the water. Mr. Pena, who purports to be an expert, has never done a forensic examination of Bonnell's files and has no personal knowledge regarding plaintiff's purported spoliation claims. He speculates at best, and given his track record of copying and pasting his findings and conclusions from the Kiwi Firm's website, his testimony carries no weight. Indeed, we have challenged his qualifications as an expert under Daubert. We urge you to reconsider your proposed motion, or at least provide us with details about it so that we may conduct a proper meet and confer. As it stands now, you haven't even made a prima facie showing that the motion is procedurally proper, let alone supported by any evidence. It is, if you nevertheless file your basis motion, Bono will seek recovery of his attorney's fees in connection with opposing the same. If you have additional information, believe a further discussion is warranted. We will make ourselves available by phone. Ooh, good luck. Oh, Jesus, we typed out, we had a whole ass thing. She didn't file shit, took too long. Untimely. On September 8th, 2025, what is this? Plaintiff's counsel demanded a forensic examination of Bonnell's devices and insisted that Bonnell cover half the cost. Bonnell objected to plaintiff's demand and responded that plaintiff had not even made a prima facie showing of spoliation such that a forensic examination would be warranted. Thereafter, plaintiff failed to move to compel a forensic examination and seemingly abandoned any such effort. Plaintiff's motion also violates local rules of this court. Local Rule 26.1 requires parties to raise discovery disputes promptly and authorizes the denial of relief where a party fails to submit the dispute within the applicable time period. Parties' depositions were delayed due to plaintiff's recalcitrance. Plaintiff failed to appear for her notice deposition on November 3rd, 2025, and did not seek a protective order or any other judicial relief to excuse her non-appearance. On November 5th, 2025, the court ordered plaintiff to show cause why sanctions should not be issued against her due to plaintiff's failure to appear for deposition. The court ordered Bonnell's deposition stayed pending for the order of the court. The cases the plaintiff cites in her motion also provide no refuge for untimely filing. Her reliance on the out-of-circuit authorities is misplaced. In fact, those cases support the denial of plaintiff's motion. In Goodman, the U.S. District Court of Maryland held that spoliation issues should be litigated during the discovery phase, not after it is closed, because reopening discovery after dispositive motions or on the eve of trial can completely disrupt the pretrial schedule, involve significant costs, and burden the court and parties.
Still staying up late gaming solo? With Hacko AI, get the ultimate companion for your playtime.
I noticed that the enemy jungle Ramus.
Confidence up!
Wow, that overgrown tunnel looks spooky. Main weakness is that glowing blue. Yeah, squeeze through that gap. It leads deeper into the village.
Choose from a wide range of characters and make every gaming moment more vibrant. Come and give it a try.
Notably, plaintiff quotes Eller for the proposition that pursuing discovery after discovery tolls the obligation to file a spoliation motion. That quoted language appears nowhere in Eller and suggests that plaintiff's counsel may have used artificial intelligence to prepare her brief. Oh, no. Wait, is this the one that I found, or is this a different quote? I swear to God, I found at least one quote. I feel like this is a different quote. They sometimes they'll cite a court case, and I go to look for the quotes. Sometimes I stopped looking because every case I cited was garbage. But sometimes the quote was not to be found in the case, which makes it seem like your AI hallucinating quotes for Yeah, you're using AI to prepare your briefs, and the AI is inventing quotes or whatever. Plaintiff's motion is a grab bag of complaints about the scope, form, and sufficiency of Bunnell's document production from 8 months ago. If plaintiff believed Bunnell's document production was incomplete, deficient, or not in the format she preferred, her remedy was to file a timely motion to compel. That Bunnell's document production was not in the format the plaintiff preferred or lacked hash values is irrelevant. Bunnell produced all documents in the format he maintained them. In any event, plaintiff never moved to compel production in any other format. Ironically, if anyone's belated evidence, it was plaintiff. She and her best friend, Lauren Hayden, admitted at their respective depositions that they communicated about this case via the Signal messaging app, that the app was set to auto-delete, and that they were aware of and intentionally used that auto-delete functionality. True. Plaintiff also admitted to deleting messages that she sent to Bunnell about this case. Also true. She said she deleted one of the messages because she wanted to make the Give Send Go look better, which is just a crazy thing to say. But, okay, Chief. At most, any omission from Exhibit E to Bunnell's declarations were inadvertent. Bunnell produced all of his correspondence with the FMC, including all Google Drive links during discovery. Plaintiff herself requested that Bunnell remove the leaked material from view. On November 29, 2024, plaintiff asked Bunnell to delete any and all videos from Discord. Plaintiff instructed Bunnell to redact dev all the Discord logs that may have contained the material. True. Not another one! Finally, plaintiff cites Skanska for the proposition that intent may be inferred from circumstantial evidence where a party's acts evince a purpose of hiding adverse evidence. However, that quotation appears nowhere in the opinion, and once again suggests that plaintiff's counsel relied on artificial intelligence to conduct legal research and draft this motion. Skanska does not hold, or even generally discuss, that intent may be inferred from circumstantial evidence. Skanska actually stands for the proposition that intent to deprive requires bad faith, i.e., the alleged spoliator acted with a purpose of hiding adverse evidence from other parties, and that mere negligence or even gross negligence is insufficient. Plaintiff also cites and quotes Skanska at 1311 and 6 for the proposition that courts have considerable inherent sanctions power, including fees. That footnote does not even concern spoliation sanctions or the award of fees, and the purported quotation appears nowhere in the opinion. To the extent that plaintiff argues that the underlying files associated with the Google Drive links were not separately produced, that is not spoliation either. It is at most a discovery dispute that plaintiff should have raised through a timely motion to compel. Plaintiff never filed such a motion. Pena's opinions remain flawed for the same reasons previously identified that depend on assumptions, speculation, and plagiarized theories he pulled from the QB-Firm's website. The very site to which Bunnell's private materials were originally published without his consent.
What if you could make a song using only your voice? Let's start with the drums. I'm gonna hit drums and click cover. Yes. This is good. Okay, perfect. I feel like the song needs a rhythm guitar. Run, dun, 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 run, dun, 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 dun. Changing it to guitar. I'm gonna type in rhythm guitar. Okay, I like this track. I'm gonna copy it to the main. All right, now we're adding some bass. Bum 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 bum. Not yet.
Something else to watch.
No,
For
he
example-
needs to. It is mandatory. He needs to, right?
So what he,
it's the
so what
only
he sent-
way.
So he sent. Okay, so he sent me evidence in this case of like somebody sending something to somebody else, right? There seems to be various instances of reporting. The claim specifically was that he admitted that one of the methods was he was asking minors directly to give him CSAM. Obviously, if that was a point that you could infer or wanted elaboration on, that would be a valid point. The problem is that's not what you said. You said he admitted to it, right? That's not what the clip shows. This is an inference. This is speculative, right? And you should have just said that. You should have just said you were inferring it. You shouldn't have lied to me that he admitted to it verbatim. I gave you ample time to find the clip of him doing that, and you were unable to do so.
Yes,
Aiden.
So a concession would be appropriate, probably, and then you would revise your take. That's what an honest person does, which you are not, right?
Aiden, what if anybody common sense wise says pull up the DMs? Like, I have to imagine you would ask. Otherwise, like, because if it is
You're inferring that.
Hold on. If it, hold on, I'll let you talk, okay? Because like, if it is like an extreme edge case, if it is an extreme edge case, let's just say he pulled it some other way, or maybe like whatever the fuck, right? He would clarify that already, right? But like, what is the part that he skips over, like that he doesn't want to actually say, right? Is that, well, in order to pull it, what does that mean, right? Pull is a very, how do you say, it's a very innocent term until you realize that he has to ask the minor themselves, right? It's a very neutral term for something that's so heinous, no?
For a neutral, you said he admitted to it. That's not what he's doing here. That's an
That's
inference
literally
off
what
of
he's
his lack
doing.
of
Not
what he's
elaboration.
doing, yeah.
Okay, if you want to call it inference, that's fine, okay? But it's a
Well, that's
very,
what you
very
should have
good
called
inference.
it. You shouldn't have lied to me that he admitted
It's such
to
a
it.
good,
You
it's such a
shouldn't have
good
lied to me that he
inference.
admitted to
It's
it.
such a good inference. It might as well be like admitting it, right? Like just
Might as
admitting
well
it.
be.
Also, my other question here is, because I know that people like to do this, right?
A
Is he
maze?
talking about CSAM here?
Is that?
Honey, I made the feces filter. What are you doing?
Loser, we are done. Take your gross stuff and get out. My lover built a
Get out, loser.
survival pod for me. You can
Okay, just checking.
I'm just asking because he also, in my conversation with him yesterday, if you were listening, was saying he had to like deal with instances of like 764 people like getting kids to like harm their own like fucking dogs or etc. So other things of criminal nature could have occurred that he's apparently reported, and I want to know if this is specifically pertaining to the CSAM allegation, and I'd like to have seen, which apparently now we're finding out doesn't exist, where he admitted that specifically
Doesn't exist.
he was
She's like,
presently a minor for CSAM.
And I'm like, yeah, that's right. And she's like, okay.
Is there a legit way to pull up her DMS?
Is there a legit way to pull up her DMs? Sorry, that's a donor. Okay.
Gathering the fucking retards.
So a good example is, for example,
I forget this guy's name.
could a minor not get it? Could a minor not get a DM? Could a minor not get a DM like that?
Thanks,
And then
always
go
reason.
DM
Oh my
Sorry,
god, what the
sorry.
fuck happened?
Yeah, sure. So let's say like a minor
Fuck.
gets DMs like that or about that, and they go and they DM a mod in the server and just like send them a screenshot, not realizing that it's a big deal or whatever. When he says pull the logs, they can have access to the logs through that channel. It's a matter of inference, right? I do agree.
Jesus Christ!
I do agree that based off of what he's not saying, that could be a possible inference that could be made. But it is not the only inference, and it is not certainly not
Okay,
what
it's
he's
the obvious,
admitted to,
it's
as
the
you
obvious
claim to me.
inference. It's the obvious inference.
Okay, is it not possible to you that in a server of 100,000 members, a minor who's
does
actively
pull mean?
dealing with
What does pull mean?
Also-
Pull means like a very active action, right? Like it's
pull
something
means-
that
yes,
you're purposefully
yes,
doing,
yes,
right? You're
yes,
purposefully doing that.
yes,
There is
wait,
no,
wait,
oh,
yes,
I received CSAM,
wait,
right?
he didn't
You're
say,
pulling
wait,
from it.
Wait, he
Okay.
said, he didn't say, he said, okay, he said pull from it. He didn't say ask
pull mean?
for it, right? He's pulling from it means you have a pre-existing set that you were extrapolating something from, right? That set, for example, could be log sent to a moderator in the server unsolicited. Could it not?
That's not what pulling means.
Pulling?
That's not what pulling means.
Okay, if I was to like,
If I was sent something by someone, I would say I was sent. See, it's simple, easy, right?
what do you
Super
think
easy.
pulling means?
Oh yeah,
What do you think pulling
oh
means?
yeah, our mods got sent this, right? Easy
What do
peasy.
you-
He would have said that,
what do-
right? Or our mods got
What do
sent
you,
this. Our
what do you
admin
think
got sent
pulling
this,
means?
right?
What do you think pulling means?
Means that you're purposefully asking them for the CSAM or
That's
the
what
DMs.
pulling means to you.
Pulling means like he specifically says screenshotting the CSAM. After like what does pulling mean, right?
Wait, why wouldn't he just say screenshotting? He seems to be totally fine using that word when he's talking
Okay,
to Connor.
why does he use pull instead of screenshot?
What do you
then?
think
Good
pull
question.
means?
What does pull mean?
because he uses the word
What-
screenshot.
how does he
Can you
pull
admit-
the
can you
DMs? How
admit-
does he?
can you admit-
He said
can
specifically
you admit-
pull
well,
the
it doesn't seem
DMs of
like-
that
it
girl. What does
doesn't- it
pulling the
doesn't-
DMs mean?
So pulling means you have access to like a set of units, and you are taking a unit from that set and using it for something, right? But the presumption would be you would already have access to that predefined set. You're pulling it out of that, right? So that's what pull would mean. It's clearly not in reference to the screenshot, because as evidenced by the conversation with Connor that you were watching and I just saw through your stream, he's totally fine using the word screenshot when he
Okay,
means
no common
that.
person would ever argue like you. I'm just saying, no common sense person would ever
Okay, so now
argue
you're
like
okay.
you.
So
Okay.
now you're just gonna get fallacious. Now you're just gonna. Do
Well,
Oh,
because
okay,
you're trying to
okay,
use
okay.
pedantry and words in order to like
How am I using
fucking
pedantry?
muddy over what he is actually doing.
You're
But okay.
you're using the term pull to infer that he was asking minors for CSAM, right? I'm asking you to
Bro,
merely
I don't even,
elaborate
dude.
on that term.
I'm gonna be real,
since
okay?
it's-
Like, not even Doobie is like thinking about it this deeply when he was saying it. Like, there's
Thinking
no
about it
way
this deep-
Doobie is thinking like, oh my god, the
You're the one that
differences
is hy-
between
you're the one
pulling
that-
and whatnot, right? Do you think he's actually doing that?
You're the one that is hyper analyzing this because you desperately needed a clip when you realized you didn't have what you said happened, right? And you're unwilling to concede on that, so you tried to find something that you could fit in to sort of be like the clip you said
Okay,
existed,
but I'm
which
just
in
saying
reality
this
doesn't.
is clear evidence. But okay, I mean, like, your opinion fucking sucks.
Got it. So
I
you
guess.
fucking lost. You've given up on the combo. Now, why were you DMing a 17-year-old?
Aiden, he pulled. What does that mean?
Doesn't deny it, by the way.
He pulled. What does that
Why
mean?
were you DMing a 17-year-old?
He pulled. What does that mean? I know you're trying
you
to
DMing
like.
a- were you
I know
DMing a
you're trying
17-year-old?
to. I
Were
know
you
you're trying
DMing
to
a
divert.
17-year-old? Were you DMing a 17-year-old?
Okay, did you or did you not say you
Were
want
you
to
DMing
gut
a
someone's wife?
17-year-old?
Did you
I
gut?
did.
you
I
say...
made an edgy joke about gutting someone's wife. You know what else
okay.
made an edgy joke? Destiny. We said he would rape
Well,
someone with a
okay,
shovel.
okay,
and
that's
he's
an
talking
edgy
about
joke then.
Courtney's little
Easy peasy.
pikes. Okay, it was an edgy. Okay, so. Okay,
Well,
so
I'm just
you believe-
simply using your.
so
I'm
you
just
believe-
simply
so
using
you
your
believe-
excuse,
so you,
right?
Yeah. So believe it or not, the action, I never actually gutted somebody's wife. You actually were talking to a 17-year-old about sexually explicit subjects. No.
What does pull mean? If I were to pull,
She doesn't
if I were
even
to pull
deny
from
it.
somewhere,
They're literally promoting an open pedophile to be like their spokesperson. Look at how fucking desperate they are. You know they don't give a shit about you, right? You know Steven doesn't care about you. When I was fucking destroying you on that point, he never came in to defend you. Because you mean nothing to him.
okay, but I'm just saying you're just
You're just
avoiding.
a
You're
sad,
just avoiding the
worthless
inference.
pedophile.
You're just
I asked
avoiding
you
the
what-
inference.
No,
It's
I
fine.
asked you what pull means.
Nope.
I asked you what pull means.
Nope.
4 minutes ago, anyone could rewind. You refused to answer. You only want to go back now
Nope,
because I'm
nope,
digging
nope.
skeletons out of your fucking closet.
No, you want to go to another topic because you just can't come to the fucking conclusion that pull obviously means that you have to ask
you
the
define
motherfucking
pull?
person. Also,
How do you
are we
define pull?
are we gonna really pretend? Are we gonna really
How do you
pretend
define
that
pull?
Doobie like just basically downloads CSAM and he's
How do you
trying to
define pull?
retroactively make
How do you
justifications for
define
it?
pull? How do you define pull? How do you define pull?
Pulling is like downloading, screenshotting, asking someone.
Downloading, screenshotting, and asking someone. So why
Yeah,
wouldn't he just
or-
use
or
the word
asking
screen?
someone.
So why wouldn't he use the word screenshotting like he did
Bro.
with Connor? Why wouldn't he use the word
Bro.
ask?
Bro, that's a good question. Maybe you should ask Doobie. Why didn't he use the term screenshot then? And by the way, it's not like that makes it better because you haven't. You said that you're gonna look into Doobie sending you reports, like actual police reports. But okay,
Yeah, I
like
yes,
if he sent you any.
Wait. He said he would, right? I'll follow up with him on that and ask why. if he
Okay,
doesn't
but
after a
again,
good
that's
period
one of the
time.
most important questions. That's literally one of the most important
It
questions.
is, and it was asked, and he agreed to provide evidence, right? So I'm waiting for that.
Why'd you give him such a softball interview if like he didn't even provide
How
you
is
that crucial
how is
evidence?
How is that? What was softball? I literally told him that I disagree.
Because
I disagree with the
until you receive evidence that it is actually reported to the police and the police have taken action, then obviously he's the actual fucking PDF
Wait, I'm
downloading
waiting-
CSAM, right?
He's
He's downloading CSAM and he's retroactively trying to justify it using the I'm trying to catch it for the FBI. Okay, you can laugh all you want, but I'm just saying I'm gonna still press you on this
No,
point. But okay,
you're
go
so
ahead.
right. No, you're totally winning here. You're totally winning.
I am, but okay. Keep on going.
When Daddy Steven will definitely give you some money tonight.
Is Daddy
okay,
Steven in the room
so
with us right now? Hello, am I your therapist?
No, wait. I'm sorry. You realize you.
Okay, it's not
he is in
therapy,
the room with
right?
you right now.
It's not therapy,
wait, you
right?
You have this plushie in the background. Your whole life is based around him. What are you talking about? He is in the room. His
Okay,
concept is in the
says
video,
the groom
right in the
16-year-old.
background.
Okay, says the groom 16-year-old
Imagine
from the commentary
imagine
community
basic-
who got groomed by the
imagine
snarker
basic,
community, who is actively a child
Groom
soldier
on
for them. But
groom-
okay.
Maybe if I got groomed, maybe I ran into somebody like
if
you.
you- look,
because
listen.
you're talking to
Listen,
17-year-olds.
listen. If you want to go to Bloodsports, that's fine. But I just, dude, you're just. I'm sorry. This is
That's
so
fine.
fucking
You're
retarded. This is
taking
so
the-
obviously
you're
retarded.
taking
But
the
okay.
gloves off. Taking the gloves off.
Why? Like, okay, we can go to Bloodsports if you want, but like Bloodsports is boring. Okay, like the thing is that you, dude, how do you pull it? How do you pull the DMs? How?
Did you?
How, Aiden?
Okay, so
Aiden,
Paul
tell me.
could be-
Describe it to me. Describe it to
Yeah,
me
so-
clearly, without going
Yeah,
into like a
yes,
fucking thesis or
absolutely,
like a fucking dissertation.
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. Okay. So pull, for example, could mean you've been given access to a set of logs and you're looking for something specific to pull from those
How do you
logs.
get the logs? How do you get the logs?
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a fun, fast, and intelligent way to launch online. Landing pages, content hubs, e-commerce sites, you describe it and it's built in minutes. It's kind of wild how far a short prompt can get you. Right away, it generates a full site. Pages, structure, layout, design, it's all there. Next, styling. I shape it around my taste and ask for what I like. Darker palette, different font, this is the vibe. Now let's talk functionality. I want to capture emails, done. I need payments, easy. Anything else I need, I just keep going. From a few lines of text to a live website I can start sharing. No long setup, no back and forth, no waiting for anybody else. That's Base 44.
A set of logs, and when you need to make the report, you would pull something from those logs. Would that not be an appropriate use of the term pull?
But how would you pull? But how would you pull the logs?
So by getting some, for example, somebody's tipped you off about like a 764 adjacent server or something. You get someone to go into the server and
how would you
download
get the
and scrape the
DMs?
logs.
The server.
How would you
By
get the
getting someone to
DMs?
go into the server and scraping the logs.
But what if?
.com
he
to
said
boost those
DMs. He
views
didn't
and
say
chat
logs or Gen
vibes.
chat. He said DMs. DMs
he said-
implies private communication. No.
Sure, I guess it could, but it could also be like.
Okay, so you're just a
for
retard.
example-
Okay,
wait,
okay,
no,
Aiden,
No,
yeah.
no. So for example,
Dude.
somebody. For example, how do you? Wait, I'm sorry. Okay, okay. How do you think he would get the logs? If there was a case where he's getting logs of a server, how would he get those logs?
He has to ask for the DMs, but like.
He
If
has
you're
to
talking about the
ask.
server,
Wait,
if you're talking about the server, yeah,
Is
you
it
have
not?
to scrape it.
So is it
but
not?
he said
is it
DMs,
not, is it not
right?
plausible to you? Is it not plausible to you that somebody is not plausible to you that somebody could DM him a set of logs from the server, and those logs could be pulled from the DM?
How does
I
he
agree.
get-
By the
how
way,
does he
by the
get
way,
it,
by the way,
though?
what you're saying, what you're saying,
People,
what you're,
people aren't,
by the
people
way,
aren't
your
randomly sending him
food
DMs
shops.
between.
Wait, why wouldn't they? He's the head moderator of a server with 100,000
Okay,
people.
then
If someone
why wouldn't-
believes wrong-
then why
you don't
wouldn't he
think-
have said-
you don't
then
think-
why wouldn't
you don't
he have
think- you don't
said,
think-
"Oh, they
You don't
sent
think
me"?
if some wrongdoing? You don't think if some wrongdoing has occurred, you don't think someone could reach out to him about that? If they believe some wrongdoing?
Wait,
has
I'm
occurred?
sorry. Are you implying that someone just bombs him with the DMs, including CSAM in it?
No, someone could DM him, hey Doobie, I was a little bit concerned about this. Somebody in the server invited me, and I got into a server where it looks like some really shady shit is going on. Here's some screenshots of it. I don't know what to do with this information, but do with it what you will. Is that not possible to you?
Okay, and after he knows about it, what next?
You would report it, right?
No. He has to ask for the DMs, right?
Wait,
He would
wait,
get
if
sent
somebody-
the
if
DMs,
somebody
and then he
sends-
screenshots the
Wait, I've
CP,
just
right?
provided you. You're
And
looping back.
and he's
food shops,
supposed to
food
report
shops,
it, right?
Food shops. I just provided.
Okay, yeah,
you-
I'm gonna
I
ask you the
just
same
provided-
thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just provided you with a plausible scenario where somebody could send him
God
the logs
damn it.
without him directly asking for it.
fuck
And the
is
claim
this shit?
specifically was that he was directly asking for it from the miner themselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's no evidence. We've not seen any evidence that happened.
Aiden.
Okay, I'm getting something that I'm allowed to show. For disclosure, I know people like to lie. That I get anyone who actually DMs me, by the way, while I'm invading knows how like fucking absurd the claim that I'm reading DMs while I'm invading is. But I actually did just get a DM from Doobie, who has told me I can pull this
Dude.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's funny about that?
No, sorry. It's just funny you're getting it directly from Dewey. That's it.
Wait, who else? I'm sorry.
No, I just find it
that
funny.
go
No, I
through
just
for-
listen.
Wait,
Listen, I just find it funny. I just find it funny.
Wait, I'm
okay?
sorry. I'm sorry.
I just
I'm
find it
sorry.
funny.
You think
It's funny.
You think it's
funny.
Are you retarded?
Let me
You
let me
think
find it
it's
funny.
stupid-
Let
you
me
think
find it
it's
funny.
stupid
Is
to
mental
get
gymnastics
Why
clarification from
spring
someone's
out at me
statements from the
finding it
person
funny?
themselves?
I'm just finding it funny.
So
That
you're a
that
pedophile
doobie.
and you're retarded. You pick a struggle.
No, I'm just saying it's funny.
Of course, if we're trying to interpret someone else's words,
either
of course
messaging the
their
kid
No, I'm
or
just saying it's
messaging
would be
funny.
valuable as to
If
what
someone
they
else
meant.
is
Yeah,
giving
I'm
you
just saying
evidence,
it's
how would they
funny.
do that?
that's
From the minor
as
or
in
the
like some
PDF.
wrongdoings going on because you're getting clarification from the person whose statement is being debated, which is actually
I'm
like a
just-
totally normal
I'm
concept
just saying,
that you're
no.
performatively pretending is funny because you've nothing.
What? No, I said I personally find it funny that Doobie messaged you about it, but
What is? Yeah, I've just
Okay.
explained what is like funny there. It's funny that he's defending himself from
Are
a
you- are you-
pedophilia claim. That's funny.
I find it funny that
He's doing more than you did. You don't
Are you
even
sending
contest
you?
the pedophile
That's
claim.
it.
You don't even contest that one.
like I don't think I need to explain to you why I think it's funny.
Yeah, most
actually.
people
It has
who do-
nothing to do with the
most
argument,
people who
nothing to
ha-
do with the
most
debate
people-
on hand,
yeah, most
nothing to do
people-
with the
most
disagreement.
people- yeah,
You just wanna deflect,
It's a-
defend,
it's a-
and
it's a-
pivot to
yeah,
something
no, I know what
else.
you're doing.
Okay.
I know it's a performative gesture when you don't have a point. I understand.
What did
you're
Doobie send you? What did Doobie send you? That
I was
vindicates
about
him.
to read it. I was about to read it. This is hilarious, by the way, guys. We're really
Okay.
laughing at this. This is a knee slapper,
Wait,
guys.
read it, or are you
Hold
gonna
on.
send it to me?
Yeah,
Send it to
I
me.
am.
Send,
I am.
Send me.
I'm-
Unless it's
hold
CSAM.
on,
Unless
hold
it's
on,
CSAM,
hold
don't
on,
send it to me. Don't send it to
hold
me
on,
if it's
hold on.
CSAM. If it's CSAM, I don't
Hold
want to
on.
see it. Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, I know you probably have every C7 that's ever been
Listen,
exchanged
I'm not
online.
Doobie. I'm
We
not
know you're-
Doobie. I'm not soliciting. I'm not soliciting DMs from a minor. Okay, so you know, I'm not like even though you're a minor, even though you're a minor, even though you're a minor, you know, I'm not. I'm not soliciting anything. Okay.
I'm
not
sorry, were
soliciting
you,
anything.
were you
Just
not
wanna clarify
actively
that.
DMing a minor about sexually explicit topics on an IRL lolly? I don't think that's true. I think you were, right? You were trying to get them to reciprocate, no?
Are you gonna send it to me or not?
Got it, so you just lied. This is one of the examples of me pulling images from DMs. The screenshot sent to us by the minor being targeted, not containing CSAM, but I have screenshots from Telegram groups. When I was worried, he did say that yesterday as well. He did bring up Telegram groups. Anyone can go rewind and verify that to be true, and then they have nothing. Also received prepackaged pedophiles put together by the minor or their friends containing, sorry, pedophiles, PDFs. Sorry, I read that as pedophiles. Prepackaged PDFs put together by the minor or their friends containing links to videos of them being forced to hurt themselves. Sometimes while naked. That was of course on my PC when I received it then. Of course I later report it. Also given access to minors' Discord accounts after any season was released so I could take screenshots, pull message links of an adult sending them nudes. Link, like this guy. So the claim here is, so he was sent pre-prepared dockets, and I have seen evidence in one case where
Wait, can you just screenshot what DD sent you and then
yeah,
just
we're pulling it up. Yeah.
so then I can like look over it.
Yeah. Hold on. It's multiple screenshots. You wanna just do me a favor? Do you wanna just yeah, can you just like you have my stream pulled up, don't you? I'll just screen share. I'll screen share with you.
I
I'll
can go
screen
back
share
to your
with
stream.
you. I'll screen share with you. Hold up. Just wanna make sure.
You just screenshot it. You don't have a screenshotting tool? What the
I do. It's he sent me multiple. Like it's a chain, right? It'd be a little bit complicated. So I'll just screen share with you. That's easier, no?
It's not that hard. Okay, fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, is it both allow you to read the fucking message?
Okay, alright, let me just...
So, that's proof. I don't need you getting angry, whatever. They don't match. So what kind of tips and tricks did my girlfriend give you? She basically gave me a
Okay, does this contain CSAM?
No. What? I'm sorry. Where is the CSAM here? Are you retarded?
I don't know what because this is clearly hold on because this isn't just because what I'm asking for is the DM's Doobie is communicating with you, not the actual logs themselves.
Okay, I just read it to you.
What?
We'll pull it up because I know
No,
you're like
just
mentally challenged.
screenshot it.
Yeah, so this is the first.
I didn't ask for the actual logs between the minor and the pedophile. I'm asking for what Doobie is typing to you in DMs.
I'm sorry. What are you looking at that is like causing this reaction?
I'm asking for.
So this is So this is part
Doobie
one.
is telling you. Okay.
This is
Alright,
part one.
Okay, that's
right
better.
here.
That's better. Okay.
Right here. Now let's go through what he says.
Because I don't want to see any of that shit. Okay. Yeah.
You don't want to. What
Why?
are you looking
Why?
at?
Like,
that
what
is
is the
causing
point
you to
of?
spurt
Okay.
the fuck out?
What is even the point of showing this? Like, hello?
What? Because
Just show me Doobie. Just show me Doobie's thing.
He's providing
Doobie's
proof
thing.
for his
It's fine.
statement.
Just show me Doobie's thing.
I'm sorry. Do you get like scared by text?
Wait,
Are you,
what's
like, one of
the
those
wait,
people?
hold on.
Does-
What's
do
the
texts
important?
give you
Hold on.
anxiety?
Okay, let me read this out. Did she include the part where I come in her
wait, I
mouth?
got it,
Is
I
that
got it, I
important
got
for
it.
a debate? Is that important for a debate?
I got it. It's gonna trigger the
Is
POCD.
is
I'm
this
sorry.
is debate? Did she include the part where I come in her mouth? This part.
Is your POCD flaring up out of curiosity?
No.
Okay. I
So
just
are
didn't know
you
what that
okay for
reaction
sending
was,
me
because
people
nothing scary
sexting?
is happening.
Because I don't know
Nothing
why you're
scary.
sending me logs of people sexting,
Yeah,
but okay.
So I'm not sending those logs to you. I'm pulling them up on my stream, which I'm screen sharing with you right now. What about this is scary? Everyone can see what I have pulled up. It's actually insane that you're scared by this. This is scary to you, just so we're clear.
Are you gonna show Diddy the damn time?
I'm sorry. I just did. He then sends
Okay,
supplemental screenshots.
stay on the Doobie DM. Why'd you switch back so fast?
I already
stay
read
on
it.
the.
Calm
No,
it
let
down.
me
Calm
read it
down.
myself. Let me read
I'm
it
dealing with a
myself,
fucking
motherfucker.
lunatic.
Hold on. Let me read it myself.
You're insane.
Like, cause I don't know why you stayed so long on the sexting. Okay, like what the fuck?
I forgot you had POCD. I'm so sorry. I forgot about that. I should have been more considerate.
Bro, what's that? Bro, it has nothing to do with PFC.
Well, your reaction is like super irrational. Nobody should be getting that scared over like DMs being pulled up, right?
Rapid fire!
Oh god. Oh god. Jesus. Fuck.
Screenshots folder. This is one of the examples of me pulling images from DMs. Just screenshots sent to us by the miner being targeted, not containing CSAM. But I've screenshotted in Telegram groups when I was worried it would be purged and the evidence would be lost. Also received pre-packaged PDFs put together by the miner or their friends containing leaks to videos of them being forced to hurt themselves, sometimes while naked. That was, of course, on my PC when I received it, then of course deleted after I reported it. Also been given access to a miner's Discord account after any CSAM was deleted so I can take screenshots and pull message links of the adults sending them nudes. Wait, sorry. Did he say containing links to videos of them being forced to hurt themselves, sometimes while naked? Am I reading this correctly?
Yep. Someone sent him pre-packaged PDFs containing those videos, which he then reported to law enforcement. That's what he just said, right?
Which you can't prove because you haven't received any reports, right?
Okay, what's the proof that he's ever looked at CP? What's the proof?
You're not serious.
His word. No, it's his
you're
word.
Not serious.
That's all you guys.
You're not serious.
Wait. How am I not serious? What about that to you sounds ridiculous? Your entire claim hinges on his word.
Are you gonna ask me? Are you gonna ask me for evidence now of him admitting that he looked at CSAM?
No,
are you gonna ask for evidence of that now?
No, I've seen him admitting to it, right? But in that same sentence that you guys originally used as a dunk, he's also saying he reported to law enforcement. So if his word is good enough for you to believe the first part of the claim, I don't know why it isn't good enough to believe the second.
Yeah, that's right.
If we can't we can't even trust that this event happened.
Thanks for the 100 DKK. Sorry. Okay, wait. Bro. He said multiple times across multiple streams, across multiple recordings. What are you on about?
What?
About looking at CSAM. What do you mean that he didn't see CSAM?
I'm sorry.
This is like one of the things that he's consistent on. What are you talking about?
Let's just refocus for a sec, because I want to demonstrate how far the goalpost has been moved. What is the argument now?
Fire!
What is your argument?
You're not being serious. You're actually just straight up not being serious.
So anytime you have, like, they do like some gay like performative posturing because they don't have any substance. So anytime you like push them on a specific point or ask them to clarify something, it's just gay performative posturing to chat because they have nothing. I honestly, you make me feel a little bit bad for Steven that his white knight is like a pedophilic retard that can't debate for shit.
Also been given access to a minor's Discord account. What is that?
Wait, shots. Also been given access to a minor's Discord account. Do you want to read the next part of the sentence?
After any CSAM was deleted, so I can take screenshots and pull message links. Okay, so why is this not consistent?
Not yet.
What?
With him saying that he actually saw CSAM. Why don't you question the inconsistency of this?
The original claim that you were making was that he asked the miners to give them for CSAM, for their CSAM, right? That's not what's happening here.
And pull message links of the
after you spent a ridiculous fucking amount of time trying to desperately find a clip to substantiate your lie.
just to be very clear, right? Like he sought this out, right? Like just to be very clear, he sought this out, right?
Vague enough that allowed you
so just to be clear,
like,
he sought this out, right? So he sought this out. Okay, so he pulled it. So he pulled it. Okay, great. So he pulled it, right?
Prepackaged PDF. What it indicates to you that he sought that out of curiosity. When it's a prepackaged PDF, so he was sent those, right? Received. Sorry.
Do you think that they're just sending him out of nowhere, or do you think he has to ask for it?
Unfortunately, yes, he runs a server with over 100,000 people in it as like the head mod or whatever. A lot of people probably reach out to him with any concern they have about anything that's going on, including misguided miners that are trying to like report on some wrongdoing and reaching out to the head admin, right? So yeah, I actually can totally believe that, right?
Steven wants to talk to you. You want to talk to him?
Sure.
Okay, let me add him in. I give up, man. This is silly.
Oh my
god.
Yo, how's it going?
What does this mean?
What I have pulled up?
No, I sent you a screenshot.
While I was reporting it, sure. Did you take screenshots of the evidence you had CSAM on your computer? While I was reporting it, sure. This is why I mentioned the JDOM thing yesterday. Sometimes you do need to make copies of it to report it. Then you delete all the copies. Obviously, I'll show you. It means that he was screenshotting copies of it, which you should not do because that is illegal, right? That's a misguided attempt at reporting.
Okay, that's it. So multiple times, he's been saving child porn on his computer to do something that no law enforcement official would ever tell you to do, right?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Okay,
And
cool.
That's a misguided. Okay, but the claim is that his intention there is pedophilic. My question is if his intention is pedophilic and this is not a misguided attempt at reporting this information, and in fact, some wrongdoing on his part, why did he volunteer this information?
Because he thinks he's cool? I don't know. He thinks it's awesome? I'm not sure. I do know that there's no place ever in the history of all of mankind where we would be comfortable with an anonymous figure running a Discord server with children in it who admits to saving child porn on their computer multiple times and then claim that they're reporting it to law enforcement. Has Doobie ever posted proof that he's reported it to law enforcement?
I asked him to, right? But if there's enough, the proof that he's seen CP is off of his word and his statements. So I don't know why his statement, the second half wouldn't be utilized as well, right?
Well, because the first half makes him look bad and the second half makes him look good. So you give a little bit more weight to somebody admitting something that makes him look bad and less weight to something that makes somebody look good, right?
Wait, why would you give more weight to him volunteering the thing that makes him look good?
Do you think he can clutch?
Not a chance. He's a one-tap wonder. Focus on your own game instead of spectating. You need to carry harder next round.
So at this point, you're probably wondering, how does this companion even work? Well, this isn't just some random voice bot running in the background. I'm using
in high school, and somebody else says, I was the track star, #1 star in high school. Which one of those statements is more likely to be a lie and why?
Okay, so the second one is probably going to be more likely to be a lie, but the intention of the second one, you would see this from somebody that's trying to make themselves look cooler, right? But if the whole statement itself is, I was bullied a lot in high school, but was also the track star, it's a statement that makes you look bad in combination with a mitigating statement that you volunteered without any, like, burden or impetus to do so, then I'm probably inclined to just believe the statement in totality.
No, you can, because those two statements are completely non-related. What if somebody says, I was bullied a ton in high school, so I took jujitsu and I learned to beat up all my bullies? Would you believe that entire statement? Or do you think the first half is more likely to be true than the second half is probably not true?
The first half might be more likely to be true just because it's more plausible in general, right?
Okay, so why would anybody admit to take... Has Doobie ever in his entire life posted any proof whatsoever of him being a part of any FBI investigation? Ever?
To my knowledge, no. I requested this information from him. He said he would send it, and I'm sure he's all going to follow up with him if he does.
Okay. You won't, and he won't.
I absolutely will. That's just not true.
Did you follow up with Wick about who sent you his docs?
Yes. So this occurred later in the stream. I told people I wouldn't tell him. And the reason I'm not going to tell him
Okay,
is
yeah, that's
because...
what I thought. Okay, I don't care. Okay.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you...
For Doobie, so Doobie runs a server
Do you not
with
realize
minors. Doobie runs a server with minors, and he admits to getting child porn, right? And saving on his computer, right? We know that. It's probably true. There's no reason to think he would lie about that. Now, he claims he's part of all these FBI investigations, but isn't it kind of weird that he admits to saving child porn and he runs a huge server with minors tagged in it and argues for pedophiles to be in that server talking to the minors? Isn't that kind of weird?
Sure, but you know it'd be even more weird. Somebody who believes that for malicious reasons they've saved CP volunteering that information without being asked to or alleged to have happened, right? What would be more likely is that they believe they haven't done anything wrong and have made a mistake in the process of reporting it and are volunteering this information because they don't think they've done anything wrong. That seems like there would be far less steps to get to that point.
Sure, that could be true. Like, I don't know if I would say Doobie is maliciously seeking out child porn, but the level of recklessness, the negligence here is so extreme. It seems like a really, really, really bad situation for her to be in, no?
Sure, I agree that's reckless and negligent. You shouldn't save it like that.
Well, I mean, with regards to minors, period, right?
I called him reckless to his face, and called him yesterday.
Did you say that you had a minor tag when you were on that server?
Yeah, but I was over. They gave it to me improperly. I was over age 18. Or
For how
I was
long?
18. I think it was for a few months. I don't remember exactly. I ended up leaving the server just because.
So if you would have been having sexual conversations with minors, they would have been okay with it, and they tagged you incorrectly? And this would have been on the server with the guy who admits to saving child porn on his computer multiple times, right? Do you see how like all of this kind of starts to look really, really, really bad, even if he's not really guilty of anything? You see, it looks like really fucking horrible.
Sure, like sure. If you're trying to make a certain descriptor fit, you can absolutely try to interpret
Make
all
a
these things.
descriptor fit.
Yes, the descriptor is that he's a pedophile. I believe that all of these things indicate recklessness. I agree that all these things indicate like negligence and certain responsibilities and duties and wrongdoing, right? But I don't think that the takeaway here, unless you had like incentive to mischaracterize it, would automatically be that this person is doing so because he derives pleasure from the sexualization of prepubescent children.
Sure, he might not, but he absolutely shouldn't be in charge of that server.
Listen, if that's your claim, I think that's fair enough.
If you and I were to go out and we had to argue with 100 strangers or whatever, at the end of the day, how many do you think would agree with you that he should remain in charge of that server, and how many would agree with me that the guy who says he saves child porn on his computer to report to the FBI has never given proof for that, gives the minor tag out to anybody, I guess, who wants it, or they mess up with it?
You know they'd agree with you, because for the correct reasons, words like CP, CSAM, etc., just by hearing those words, people's mind is all automatically swayed in a certain direction, because there's a lot of importance given to these topics, and rightfully so. But the truth
Doesn't
of the
that mean
matter
that he
is,
should be even more aware of it then, if he's going to be the head of a server that allows tagged minors to hang out there?
yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that enough on him to be aware of that? Then shouldn't he maybe not?
Sure. If you want to make the prescription that through like what I also can agree is reckless, you should step down. I wouldn't even blame you for making that prescription. It would probably be
I don't
fair.
know what this language is. Would you disagree with that?
Would I disagree with that? I mean, probably not.
Probably not. One could make the argument that you could have the prescription. I don't know what these words are. We are so many levels
Sure.
of abstraction away from real sentences. Do you think it's a good idea for
You know what the word
Doobie?
prescription means?
Really? You think I don't know what the word prescription means?
I know that's not true.
Yeah, okay, stop giggling. So, do you think, without 50 million layers of abstraction, do you think that it's a good idea that Doobie is the head of the server, or do you think he should probably step down?
It depends on what corrective actions you want to take going forward. right?
Do you think
if he's
Duke's gonna
unwilling to
take
make
any
it,
corrective action going forward?
if he's unwilling to take any corrective action going forward, then yeah, he probably should, because this is a
Yeah,
this is
he
a
probably
responsibility.
should. You think he should step down if he doesn't change how that server's ran?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'll agree to that.
Okay.
But the problem I have here is it feels like these things are being interpreted like I mean, are you gonna even deny it's bad? Like, it's obvious there's like personal motivation here, like personal spite here, that's leading to the most bad faith assertion possible off of this. I think there are legitimate criticisms against him for
What
this.
was the
but,
bad faith assertion I just made?
Sure, that he's a pedophile. Okay, no,
I'm not even saying he's a pedophile. I'm just saying that everything he's done is pretty. It's kind of extreme.
You've not called him a pedophile in like the last week or two. You didn't call him a pedophile.
I mean, I might have, but he's called me a pedophile. I mean, sure, but that's not evaluating, or that's not part of the evaluation right here over whether or not he should be the mod of that server. No, don't say. No, that's what we just talked about right here. What you just agreed to, that he should step down from being the owner of that server if things don't change going forward. Then nothing will change, by the way, and you won't call for him to step down because you don't actually care about any of this. But that argument didn't rely on personal fight or anything at all. Neither do I. What?
You knew him for 7 years. You were in that server. Why did you never call him out prior to like?
I thought that there were weird things going on that server, and I did call him out for things in that server. That's why we stopped partnering with them.
Why didn't? Okay, but did you remain in the server?
I don't know if I remained in the server or not, but being in the server as a user is not the same as being the owner of a server.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm
a member of like 20 or...
If I believe the server is being run by a pedophile, I wouldn't want to fucking be in it, would I? Right?
I don't know. How many Discord servers are you a part of?
I think about 10.
Okay, I feel like I'm not in very many, and I'm in like 15. I don't know what the fuck who's running all of these at all points in time. Dude's not the only owner. But that nice burden shift right there, by the way. What was that supposed to prove?
It was to prove that it seems like your concern is only being expressed because you don't like him because he said certain things about you, right? Not
No,
we stopped
partnering. No, we stopped partnering with that server years ago, way before any drama or anything popped up between me and Doobie.
Did you give him those? Was it the same reasoning at the time?
I don't remember the reasoning I gave. I just know there was a lot of weird stuff going on with that server, so we stopped partnering with him.
One down. Who's next?
I don't know if I knew at the time that he was hoarding child porn and had a minor tag or whatever, but I know that there was like weird shit that was going on in that server, and I didn't feel comfortable endorsing it for mine.
Well, okay, but is it any of the weird shit you're describing now?
No, but I don't know if I knew any of that weird shit that I'm getting sent now.
Okay, so these are just like new revelations that conveniently coincide.
I didn't say new revelation that conveniently coincide. I didn't say new revelations. I've been getting new things sent to me, and yeah, nobody's ever dug stuff up about Doobie before.
If these were old revelations, these would have come up in the 7 years you knew him, right?
Yeah, but I haven't had people setting me stuff on Doobie. Our fighting publicly has happened over the last probably a couple weeks.
So there'd be new revelations.
New revelations implies that I'm having new thoughts on old evidence. This is stuff that's never been sent to me before.
Okay, you don't think revelation could be implied you got sent evidence that leads you to now accept a certain fact that you hadn't previously accepted due to new evidence being provided?
If you want to phrase it that way, sure, but that's not what it implies.
Holy?
Okay, I feel like it does, but that's okay. Yeah, I think that I guess it just like obviously seems like this. A lot of this is just like being driven by spite, right?
Why? Does it not make sense that when you're fighting with somebody publicly, that people start sending people a lot of stuff when people start fighting publicly? Has that never happened to you before?
It does, but I feel like there's a certain reach
yes,
to go and portray a certain narrative about the guy at the center of it. When I think that
If you write the words, what if you could hear them as a song? Go to suno.com, switch to custom mode, and paste in your lyrics. Then describe the sound. I'll go with soulful R&B ballad, emotional vocals, piano driven. Hit create. Suno turns your writing into 2 fully produced songs. Your words sung back to you with real production behind them. Now shape it. Remix to hear your lyrics in a completely different genre. Rewrite sections to tighten the phrasing. Extend to build the full track. You can also use Suno
skill gem to have 3 support gem sockets
that you can then reinsert to complete your composition. Your lyrics fully produced from a paste and a prompt. See what your words can become. Subscribe at suno.com.
Level 8.
She's trying to be 18. Do you have evidence of that?
Bro, if you cannot dig up, dude, I'm sorry. I'm good. Okay. No,
okay,
I know the bait. I know the trap. Good.
Got it. Yeah.
Even if that was the case, even if that was the case, well, it sounds like you don't have all the facts, but even if it was the case, there's a difference between a person doing a thing versus a person defending a thing as a standard operating procedure for every member in their Discord server.
Sure, there's a difference there, which I guess I'm trying to figure out. So then what?
So then what?
Well, you've just demonstrated that two things are different. I don't know how the comparison wouldn't work.
Well, because the two things are different, I probably wouldn't have the same standard for both. I think that if food shops had an open advocacy program for people fucking 17-year-olds in the Discord server, I would probably be a lot more hesitant to engage. As
2,000
far as I'm aware, that's not the case.
2,000 minors,
Yeah.
okay? No
As far as
minors
I'm
are
aware,
allowed
that's
in
not
my
the case.
server.
Is
Only
that
in your
the case?
DMs.
Do you know?
They're only allowed in your DMs.
I'm not in food shops
One
DMs. Do you want to
person-
get into food
I
shops
was talking-
One
I
DMs?
was
person pretending to
talking
be
to
18, okay? But
Got it.
okay.
Go.
By the way, you're defending Doobie, okay, who has like 2,000 miners on the payroll ready to be like churned through the fucking meat factory. But okay, you're going after me. You're going after me being honeypotted by one person, but okay.
What am I saying about Doobie that's unfair?
It's just crazy that you're comparing me with Doobie. What the fuck? Hello? That's insane, right? You realize that's fucking insane, right?
This is just posturing and no substance.
Like you're the one concerned trolling over like this person pretending to be 18 or 19-year-old, okay, who turns out to be 17, right? And you're the one who is actively defending Doobie, interpreting that in the best possible light. Like you're arguing over the pedanticness of like the word pull. Like, are you actually fucking getting? This is not a serious debate. None of this is a serious debate, but okay. It doesn't. No,
I'm sorry.
I'm good.
Why did we argue? Why did we argue about the word pull? You're the one that started that argument. How are you gonna fucking try to claim now that it's pedantic?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
The fact that you're
keep
even
going.
comparing me with Doobie is just that I don't care anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say anything you want.
Well, you guys have anything else?
You look good under my
I look
Anything
forward to you
else?
championing that Doobie probably shouldn't have that server anymore. He probably needs to step the fuck down. He's been involved in way too much weird shit. Them meeting minors in real life that they know are minors is really weird. The fact that Doobie defends sexual conversations around minors means that they could have had a 16-year-old in their little mod meetup that they were all talking about anal sex with because he thinks that that's an okay thing. He's defended that publicly. He's giving bad advice to members of his server by saying that it's okay to commit crimes or collect drugs or collect child porn as long as you turn it into the police afterwards. That's absolutely not true, and it's kind of insane that a server owner of a server that large with 2,000 tag minors on it would say that. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, just, I mean, I'll go by that point. I mean, I guess I'll look into that point by point just to ensure
No,
that,
you won't.
because you would never gish gallop, would you? Right?
What thing did I just say do you think I can't substantiate? Gish gallop is when you make a bunch of bad arguments all together to try to substantiate.
You
What argument do you think?
instead of quality, I obviously know what a gish gallop is.
Yeah. So what argument there was lacking quality there?
So
What
you were,
thing that I just said is
so you
unsubstantiated?
were citing numerous examples. I'd like to look into each individually to make sure it is as you describe it. To make sure that what you did was not a gish gallop.
You won't. I showed
Absolutely
you DMs for almost all of these things before, but
I've pulled it all up. I pulled it all up. I will absolutely talk about. I literally said to him that I think it's reckless to mine in the server, etc. I will totally make that criticism. I have no vested in. I have no fucking loyalty to Doobie or anyone else. I'm just loyal to the position.
You do, but okay.
No, I know that helps the narrative. I didn't fucking talk to this guy for 4 years until yesterday. We only spoke once 4 years prior.
Resistance cell.
I know we're all like sleeping with each other, and your guys yeah. It's just not happening.
You guys don't have to be like knowing each other and having like sex every single night to like behind one specific line.
When you and Doobie had a little pleasure session after the conversation that we had yesterday or the day before, what did Doobie show you a single piece of evidence substantiating literally anything he said about himself or about me?
Yes. So he showed me like there's so many fucking screenshots in here. I haven't even gone through. I didn't even pull that up. I didn't even go through all of them. There is evidence to suggest that numerous, like for example, he showed me logs from the server where it was noted in the ban logs among several members that law enforcement reports were made by the moderator that banned them at the time. He sent me
What is ban? Hold on, wait, just real quick. That's not evidence.
Okay, that would be, it wouldn't be proof. That would be evidence.
No, it's not even evidence. What is it? What is it? It's just you just write words.
Sure. Do you not think somebody being consistent on a statement across time, including prior to them being challenged on it, you don't think that would be evidence, consistency, that they were possibly telling the truth? It just wouldn't be proof.
No, because it's all consistent with the fact that Doobie's just a liar who likes to hype up his past. In fact, I'm 100% confident of it. and I would put, I don't know, $100 on it, that Doobie is lying of one of two things. Either one, he completely lies about having a wife and kids, or two, he lies about collecting child porn and turning it into the FBI, because there's no way that a person with children would be willingly subjecting themselves to the risk of collecting child porn to turn people into the police. That's just
I agree. I don't think this guy's ever engaged with CK. He's obviously made the whole thing up. You can't take him at his word for it, right?
Okay. In that case, I think he should probably step down from the server, since he seems to be comfortable engaging with joking about child porn, and he has 2,000 tagged minors on a server that he claims that pedophiles are hunting them in.
I love like the fake concern for jokes. It's like actually, it's like you know maybe the more reserved by your positions if like you weren't trying to.
Wait, they're all jokes now?
No, you.
So he was joking about everything?
No, no, I don't think he was, right?
What do you mean concerned about jokes? Who's talking about jokes?
You're the one that just said it as like as an alternative if we can't take him at his word, which I suggested because you're denying part of this statement, but while accepting another. So the alternative.
I'm denying the part that makes it look really good, and I'm accepting the part that I thought we already went over that. So do we have to cycle back on it every single time you don't understand? Okay, so somebody tells you, I got bullied a ton in high school, but I took jujitsu and then I beat them all up. You would either accept or deny that entire statement. You can't look at a part of it and then look at the other part differently?
No, because the first part is far more common and far more. I venture to guess if we got like a room of 5 kids, like at least half have probably been bullied. So it's probably like that would be the default assumption. The jiu-jitsu part is something that statistically is far less likely to be the case, and there would be more denial of that claim. Now, statistically speaking, it's not really all that likely. I'd say it's probably comparable to the amount of people that unwittingly have to see child porn and the amount of people that report the unwitting viewing of child porn. It's probably comparable percentage-wise, right?
Who are we talking about unwitting child porn?
Okay, so for example, there have been cases of like trolls from like fucking 09A, etc.
We're not talking about trolls. We're talking about Doobie. Doobie is seeking this out. This is not unwitting, right? He's asking for access to these accounts. He's asking to see the evidence.
Yeah, but it seems like people come to him with claims, right? But the evidence that we saw, he says he was sent pre-prepared PDFs.
Doobie is not a police officer. Why the fuck would somebody go to Doobie with claims? Go to the police.
Because unfortunately, not everybody knows what to do when they get information like this.
Then Doobie should say, go to the police.
He should, 100%.
But he's not.
Yeah.
So he's collecting child porn.
I agree.
Willingly.
Wait,
you agree that he's collecting child porn willingly?
Without evidence and reports. Without evidence and reports.
Wait, collecting implies it's retained, right?
I don't know. It doesn't have to be, I guess. I don't know if he's retaining it or not, but.
Well, it seems like I just don't know. Like, it seems like we take him at his word for equally as like unlikely claims, but we're unwilling to accept other claims because they are mitigating factors.
Nobody says that for anything ever. That everything.
Look, baby, I found a case of canned goods. We have food. What are you doing? Why with a level 5 noob? What are you even seeing it?
Oh, save it, loser! Canned food? What a joke!
Canned food?
Save it, loser.
I automated our agriculture days ago.
Porn because I'm collecting from people who are getting harassed on my server, and then I turn it all into the FBI afterwards, guys. Nobody would look at that guy and think, wow, I guess he's just lying about everything, LOL. They would think at the very least this name is really fucking weird.
It would be okay, do you not think probability-wise, it'd be far more likely that somebody believes they haven't perpetrated any wrongdoing would volunteer that information as opposed to somebody that knows that they were doing it for pedophilic purposes and for no reason at all decided to volunteer that information?
Stop reading what Doobie is telling you, okay? I didn't say for pedophilic purposes. I'm saying that there's no reason for him to be collecting child porn. That's just crazy. That's a crazy thing to do as a server owner with 2,000 tagged minors in it.
That's a crazy thing to do as a server owner with over 2,000 tagged minors in it. I mean, yeah, I agree. You shouldn't be doing that. I think it's a misguided attempt at reporting it.
Why don't you give Doobie the same pressure you give Steven? Like, it doesn't make any sense, but okay. Like,
he loves Doobie.
He wasn't. I don't know. I don't know shit about this guy. Other than
okay, wait, hold on.
Wait,
Aiden, can you read this real quick? Hold on, Aiden, do you see the screenshot I just posted real quick?
One day.
So this is the person who is the 17-year-old you're talking about, right? Just to be very clear.
That you give me a turn off?
No, Yeah, no. Hold on, I'm gonna put it on stream.
Yeah, I'll put it on
stream.
stream. I'll put it on stream too. I'll put it on stream too. Yeah, yep, absolutely. If I lied and pretended I didn't turn 18, you wouldn't be.
No, read the whole thing top to bottom. Read the whole thing top to bottom.
Okay. Look, maybe one day, but for now, you just seem too much for me. The vibes just don't match. Okay, wait a second. The vibes don't match. Wouldn't you say you're a minor? The vibes don't match. Yeah, after you found out they were a minor that lied about being an adult, we can see these DMs.
This is them wanting to be my friend after lying to me.
This is them wanting to be your friend after lying.
Yes, wanting to be my friend.
Okay, so you were engaged in a sexually intimate conversation.
Okay, are you gonna read the rest?
Found out they were a minor.
Are you gonna read the rest?
Yes, absolutely. Look, maybe one day, but for now, you just seem too much for me. The vibes just don't match. Then it fits that you give me a turn off as a major, as a dishonest fuck you, huh? If I lied and pretended I didn't turn 18, you wouldn't be so rude and distant. I literally didn't even let you into the server or the chat at times because you weren't 18. Don't be weird. You're implying I'm an actual creep pedo. I'm not doing it to be derogatory. Look, I generally don't like making friends on the web, with few exceptions, and I think if you're having this kind of reaction, being turned down on friendship, I'm sorry. I don't want much to do with you.
So I acknowledge, again, right? Like, why are you implying that I'm a creep pedo person, okay? And number two, right? Like, she literally confessed here. If I lied and pretended I didn't turn 18. So will you concede here?
Wait,
okay,
okay.
I'm putting 18 here. I'm putting 18 here, okay? Will you concede here and say that, like, yeah, this isn't actually, like, this, I'm actually willingly doing the 17-year-old thing. Really? Oh, okay. Okay, you won't concede here. Okay, that's
because.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I can't provide my reason. The reason I won't is because, right? It seems like this person, because I'm actually covering someone like this, right?
This is totally gay out, right?
Jesus Christ!
You're so obvious.
Fuck!
You're saying that the reason you're not talking to this person is because of the vibes, not because they're a minor.
You're fixating on that part. You're fixating on that part instead of if I lied and pretend I didn't turn 18.
They did.
You're fixating on that part. What the fuck? Excuse me.
They did. But why would you continue to engage with the person you supposedly engaged with sexually when they were a minor? And according to you, unwittingly so. Sure. But why would you ever want to continue to engage with someone like that right after they turn 18?
Okay, we're moving.
Wouldn't you block them?
I understand. You're moving that
post. The claim was.
You're moving that post. No explanation I will ever give.
What was my first claim?
No explanation I will ever give. No explanation I give.
Where did the goalpost?
No explanation.
And what is the new goalpost?
Okay, sure. The original goalpost was you said, oh yeah, like, are you gonna admit that you like sexted with a minor who is like 17 or whatever the fuck? Basically, you didn't clarify the additional context that this person has basically confessed and lied about them being 18. And I showed you the context now, and now you're fixating on the vibes. I showed you goalpost 1, goalpost 2. All right. What else am I trying to hide? Okay.
Wait, there's no move there. You just provided a minimizing factor that still makes the first statement true.
I'm good. There's no.
Where was that? How is that? I provided 2 goalposts. What are you talking about?
The first goalpost. Okay, the first goalpost is you keep on going at me with the claim that I was sexting with a 17-year-old, implying like because you excluded the context. You excluded the context where this person confessed to lying.
Okay, so I asked you, were you sexting with a 17-year-old? Which you were. You had a mitigating reason that you're providing now, and you refused to provide at the time. At which point you went silent.
So this is basically child logic, right? This is literally just basically child logic, right? Okay, so would you also say the same about child logic? Would you also say the same about child logic?
After finding out that the person he was talking to was a minor, did he continue to engage?
I don't know, you tell me.
I'm asking you. You're the one that invoked that. You guys probably cover that situation way more than I know about it. I just know that.
No, I get it. You're just plain stupid. I get it.
No, I'm not. I'm just giving you an opportunity to make
You know, Aiden, you literally grew up with the commentary community. You asked Stardust for help with your homework before you turned 18, okay? Why the fuck? You're
I asked her to
bad faith. You're so bad faith. You were in the commentary community since you were 16, okay? You spent this entire time growing up watching Steven. You said you were a fan of Steven, okay, implying that you were there when Steven was going over the Chud Logic logs, okay? So you know all of this. You're pretending to be stupid and insulting my fucking intelligence, Aiden.
What if are you crying? What have I said that's contradictory there? You don't? Do you think because I was a fan of his, I've consumed every piece of media he's put out? I don't think any DGGer does that, dude. I mean, you probably have some super dedicated.
Aiden, are you sure you're still not
strong
16?
feelings about an adult talking to a minor if you're okay with it happening in Doobie Silver?
I'm not, I just said to you, I think he should ban all minors.
He's not going to, though, right?
Apparently,
you're not going to care about it.
No, I do, right? I think all minors should be banned.
You're not going to, but there's no action you're going to take. You're not going to talk about it. You're going to push him on it.
I did at the time. I literally said to him, I think it's reckless. I challenged him on it yesterday. I literally
but nothing else is
going
to come about it. Yeah, he's just not going to change it.
I'm sorry, what do you want? What do you want me to personally do about it?
Do the same thing you did to Steven. The same thing you did to Steven.
What am I doing to Steven? I got asked to come on for a conversation with Wick, with Cold and Steven.
Malding 24/7 about him? Malding 24/7 about Destiny?
I don't maul 20. Okay,
you're gonna cover me. You're gonna make a stream on me late night, right?
You've been saying that wait, no, the stream wasn't I was gonna briefly go over you as a segment. Then I was gonna go over the fucking Lego drama or whatever the fuck's going on with bricks and minifigs or whatever. I was gonna react to a segment just because you lied that you blocked me after I spammed your DMs, which wasn't true. So I was just gonna refute that lie, right? Then you called me, and now we're having this conversation.
Okay, hold on, Steven, what does this look like? Hold on.
Your mom.
Oh yeah, my mom. Okay, hold on. Steven, what does this look like? Is he spamming my DMs? Yes or no? What is that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why?
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. That's all I need. I don't care
no, you said I was spamming your DMs to the point you had to block me. You never blocked me. I sent you 5 DMs.
Yeah, it turns out I ignored you instead. I didn't know whether or not I blocked you or ignored you. Turns out I ignored you instead. What's the distinction difference?
Yeah, wait.
What was the importance of this distinction? What was the importance of this distinction?
I'm actively answering her question, and she's talking. She doesn't want an answer. The distinction would be blocking me would make me unable to continue sending DMs. So the implication would be that I didn't stop DMing you on my own. I did. I sent you 5 DMs and then stopped.
Dude, you're gonna grow up to be a good debate pedophile.
I'm excited for it. Thanks.
Have you paid money for Andrew Wilson's course, or do you just like absorb?
I'm not. No, I ended up.
Aiden, I hope you know that you're a good example of like a DGer who has replicated Steven's shit, but then didn't actually get down to the fundamentals of.
Create stunning, ultra creative images. It's generated by Nano Banana 2 with OpenArt. Tap Create Image. Just choose the Nano Banana 2 model and describe what you want. Instantly boost your creativity. Give it a try.
Oh, like actually getting the concepts now, but okay. You know, like
okay,
so cringe,
dude. You understand the media people consume is probably going to influence things like speaking patterns. One of the primary agents of socialization.
Yeah, that's what you guys say about me.
I've literally
exactly.
said.
That's what you guys say about me. Yeah, that's fine.
What have I said about you? What have I said about you? I don't even think you like talk a lot much
Aiden,
like him.
considering how you lied about me, I don't give a fuck what you say about me anymore.
How did I lie about you?
17-year-old, 18-year-old, okay.
No,
Didn't I just go over that? Hello?
I said, why were you sexually DMing sexually explicit messages to a 17-year-old? You at that point went silent, refused to provide your minimizing factor. You're providing that now.
Why do you think I went silent? What's the context? What's the additional context?
You just gave up, I guess.
Hold on. Tell your chat. What's the context?
Well, the context here is that this person lied about being 18 or whatever, but then you continue to remain in contact with them, which I just don't know why you would do that.
Okay, great. So that's the moving of the goalpost, by the way.
Wait, no, the claim was.
No, you just defined yourself. You asked me for the goalpost 1, goalpost 2. You just defined yourself.
So claim 1 hasn't changed. Claim 1 hasn't changed. You just provided a minimizing factor.
Oh my god.
Also, what evidence did you see, by the way? What evidence did you see, by the way, to suggest this person's actually
you have to get out the court. Okay, this is not good.
Wait, just curious. How long ago? When did this like drama or whatever happen? I don't want to call it drama.
This is it says no. Oh, sorry, I was looking at Aiden. This is. Oh. Let me see. When did Mrao cover this on stream? You can ask Mrao actually.
No, like the 17, 18-year-old thing. When was this?
Yeah, because Mrao covered it on the stream. I'm just looking back.
Like,
Oh no, I'm just curious. Was it like 2 months ago? Was it like 10 years ago? Was it like?
Oh, this was 2025 of July or June, I think. Yeah, that's it's a while ago.
I
Yeah,
think
like more than 4 years ago, or about a year ago. So. Almost accurately. So just to be very clear, okay, they're going at me with false allegations from a year ago, all right, in which the context easily disproves, in which I sent to Mrao. This is shit I sent to. Hold on, Aiden. Did you know I sent this context to Mrao a year ago? Are you friends with Mrao? Are you friends with Mrao? Yes or no?
No, I wouldn't say we're friends. We're friendly.
Did you guys DM? Okay, all right. And
over the
when-
last
over
five
the many
months,
times,
over
over the
the
many
last 5
times,
months,
hold on,
I've
hold on,
DM'd
over the
him
many
probably
times,
10 times.
over the many times that the streamers, like in your specific circle, okay, have talked about this, which all of them pretty much, okay, has Mrao ever went forward to clarify that this person was lying?
I don't watch around.
All right, Aiden.
Why
Yeah.
is that?
How are you doing,
You
Aiden?
watch around?
Aiden, did you try out school yet? Like, what's going on?
School. Getting through it.
What major?
Exams and communications. I know, useless humanities degree, right?
Do you know what I majored in?
Morale wants
Do you
in.
know what I
Can
majored in?
Morale join? Yeah, let's get him.
Steven, you don't mind?
Just working.
Oh, sorry. Oh, wait. What the fuck? Oh,
That's his old
that
account. Yeah.
Steven? Tips my hat. What's up? Don't be so meek. Come on, man. Speak with your
Hi,
chat.
what's up, buddy? Hi.
There you go. That's better. All right. What have I lied about in regards to your food shops?
Okay. Out of all the streamers around you who have covered like this Ica person basically like fucking lying about their age, right? Like, have you corrected any of them about this whenever
like
they
who?
covered it? Aiden?
So I believe what Aiden has said, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you sexted a 17-year-old that lied about their age and said that they were 18 to you?
Well, he
I didn't
left
say the
out
light
that
of their age
context,
part.
right?
I gave
Left
food
out
shops the
context.
opportunity to add that, and food shops refused to engage, and is now providing the minimizing reason.
Okay.
And
So
they're getting
food
back
shops, your claim is that they were 17 but lied and said they were 18, right?
It's not a claim, it's true, right? Just to be very clear. Like, she
how'd
is
they
the
lie
one
to
that's
you?
confessed. She is the one that's confessed.
Did you send you fake ID or something?
Okay, hold on. We're gonna read the DMs over again because you have reading comprehension skills.
You
that
know
are
in your
lacking.
DMs you
Hold on.
reference them as being 19,
No,
not 18, right?
Okay, cool. So they pretend to be 19 instead, right? Okay.
So
I
is it
don't care.
19 or is it 18?
I said 18 or 19, right? I'm pretty sure. Like at some point.
Okay. So
like,
I just
does
want to
that
note it
matter?
down.
I'm
Initially,
sorry.
you said that they
sorry,
lied,
is this
saying that they were
a
18 now, but in
consistency
the
issue?
DMs,
Hold
you
on,
say
is this a
19.
consistency issue? Is this what they call a consistency issue? Because if I said that she was 27 versus 18, then yeah, like that's a huge age gap, right? But if I said 18 or 19, does that even fucking matter?
It's just curious that you don't really remember the situation fully, and you're arguing.
Great, you really got me.
competently on it,
You
right?
really got me, Mao. You really got me, Mao.
Yeah, I did. Why'd you call them an IRL lolly?
Hey, can you
What does lolly
read to
mean?
me? Can you read to me the part? If
What
I
does
lied
lolly
and
mean?
predict, this is the original claim.
What does lolly mean?
Are you
What does
moving
lolly
the, are you pivoting?
Wait,
are you moving the
is
goalpost?
food
So
shop
I'm, no, I'm just
is food shop
curious.
the
So I'm
minor?
gonna put
I'm
this
just checking real
screenshot
quick.
in the chat. So what does lolly mean? Because you say, I can't believe this cute IRL Japanese girl in this space who's actually into me. I'm just curious. What does lolly mean? I'm just curious.
You're reading out.
Doesn't lolly mean
DMs,
cartoon?
But, okay.
I don't think lolly means cartoon, Destiny.
Well, no, like I think that it has to be like a cartoon. Isn't that what a lolicon
I can
is?
never-
Like a
I can never
cartoon?
escape
A
lolly
lolly
debate
is
at this point.
is
It's
a
over.
pornographic image, cartoon image like of a child. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a cartoon.
Was this person a cartoon?
I hope not.
Well, if they're saying they're an IRL cartoon, the implication would be that the traits in the cartoon are carried over to like the real
Oh,
person.
so you believe
right?
half the sentence, but not the other half? Was food shops a lolly when Radiant kept calling her that?
Wait, what have am I not accepting? IRL lolly. That would be that's one assertion there that this person
Okay,
is exhibiting
Destiny.
the
If a
traits of
lolly
lolicon
is a
and IRL.
cartoon child, right? And someone says, "Oh, you're an IRL lolly," that would mean they're an IRL what?
They could just look young or be young, no?
Right. So they look like a kid, is what is
Does it have
being
to be a
implied,
kid?
right?
Well, wait. If we accept everything, even as you're saying, a 17-year-old wouldn't necessarily be a lolly either. Then, no?
Sure. I mean, the 30-year-old that you're talking to, puts her hair in pigtails, takes pictures in her kid's room to try to look like a kid for you. It's kind of the same thing about what's going on here, right?
Sure. Or like that leak call where you were talking to a minor that was posted like 8 months ago, right?
And you actually acknowledged that they were 17?
Yeah.
Okay, dude.
Yeah. So we're all
I
on the
knew
same
they were
page.
17. Fuck
So
yeah,
we're
I
all on the
did.
same page. So we're all on the same page.
We're all on the same page. I'm
you
not
know
a
that-
pussy about it, though. I'll admit what I did. You won't.
Hold on, out of curiosity, Fish Ups, how old are you?
I'm 26 right now.
You were 21 at that point in time, right, bro?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Is that what we're doing? King.
I mean, we can. Oh, we can go that route. Sure. When you were 24, you said you wanted to fuck a 15-year-old. We can go back and forth with this all day.
What, fucking
How hard was it to
15-year-old?
say no to her, by the way? How big were her tits that it was so hard for you to say no? I'm just curious.
Apparently
What
not that
cup
hard.
size are we
considering
talking
that I
here?
did. You're attacking me with drama that happened when you were like 8 years old, bro. Is this supposed to hurt me?
No, drama
Are
that
you
happened
okay?
when you. Okay, like when you sexually assaulted someone and admitted that it was sexual assault.
You talking about the person that was hopping into my lap when we were all wasted? Is that the thing? Damn, dude. One more and you're gonna
Yeah,
take
and
me
you
out
had to
for
say
good
that it
this
was
time.
really
You're
bad
so-
that you
Wait,
did that
wasn't
on
that more
screen,
than 10
right?
years ago?
I'm just
Wasn't that
curious.
more than 10 years ago?
Yeah, this was. I think this was 14 or 15 years
Was
ago.
it
And
10
not only
years
that,
ago?
not
That's
only that,
crazy.
she has come
Why
out
did you lie?
recently.
Really? Sorry, food shops. Sorry, food shops. Big boys are talking. Food shops. Big boys are talking.
Hold on. The
Food
person,
shops. Hey,
the person,
food shops.
the person.
Food shops.
Hold on. The
Food
person
shops. Come on,
that you're
calm down.
mentioning.
What if one call could change everything? Imagine understanding all of the options available to you before signing or committing to anything. That's what a tax rise consultation is for. We take the time to understand your situation, explain what programs you might qualify.
Basically, yeah.
Well, he
Yeah,
just needs
seems
stomach
like
cancer,
it.
right?
Stomach cancer? That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You need to
I have been
complete the
losing a lot of weight
cosplay.
recently.
Okay.
Why did you lie on Wick's stream? I'm just curious.
You mean when I lied about not fucking your mom, and I actually did fuck your mom?
The Destiny-isms are fucking awesome.
I figured if you were rolling out all my greatest hits, I might as well roll out mine. Yeah.
Yeah, so you said it's not like I'm saying you have to sext me and then I'll fix your reputation. You understand that that's verbatim what you did to Anna, right? You said that that's not what you did, but that's literally what you did.
But it's not really, right?
No, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, so when she requests you to fix her reputation, you say, I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. And maybe in the future, yeah, tease me and make me tweet about it sometime. And then she makes a reply, and then you reply, I'll fix it sometime publicly, in reference to her reputation. Until then, you can work on your essays on your bed while I rub your legs and feet. The implication obviously being that if you don't give her, or if she doesn't give you sexual favors, that you're not going to try to fix her reputation publicly, right? So that is verbatim what you did.
That's not really verbatim what I did. What do you think fix her reputation means?
Okay, so you said on the Wick stream,
Okay,
it's
can
not
you
like
say-
I'm saying
what
you
is-
have to
what does
sext
fix
me
her
and I'll fix your
reputation
reputation. The
Wait,
DMs
is
that
it
I'm
a record?
referencing, Destiny,
Is it like an AI
are
thing?
you literally saying I'll fix your
Is it an AI
reputation
thing?
if you give me sexual favors?
You understand
right?
that like a relationship over like years can't be boiled down to like a single message, right? What does it mean when you say fix somebody's reputation?
I don't know. What did you mean when you said that?
What do you think? Do you have any idea? Do you know anything about our friendship, our history, or anything at all? Or do you?
So I am Ral. I'm not Destiny. I don't like e-rape
Oh, but you're trying to
bitches
take
and
a
whores.
really
okay?
strong-
You are
Bro, why don't you
Mal.
tell me what you
You
meant?
are Mal.
You
Yeah.
have no bitches and no whores. I understand. I'm just asking you. Do you know anything at all? Or are you really trying to litigate to
Okay,
me
so let-
a 4-year relationship based on
Sure,
one
sure.
page
So
of
you're doing
DMs?
this thing where it's
I'm
like, do you
just
know this?
asking
Do you know this? Bitch, motherfucker. How about you sit the fuck down? So what you said on Wick stream, let's just
Sit
all
the
go
fuck
through step
down.
by
Are
step
you
with you.
okay?
All right? I'll
Wait,
go
you
through
don't
step
know
by step. It's
anything.
okay.
I'm not gonna.
Hey,
no,
I
there's
know.
no
I know.
step
You're
by
gonna
step
keep talking
to.
over
You
me
don't
because
know-
you think you're
that's
big and
literally what
tough.
you're doing.
You're a whiny fucking
Oh,
loser.
this is
Let's
where
go
we
step
do
by
the thing
step.
where we
Let's go
project-
step by step.
One of my favorite stream moments, I will admit,
Steven,
over the past
hey,
couple months,
Steven,
was when just
Steven.
to go scream
Maybe
at
I'll
you and
suck your
call you
dick
a
if you kind of
faggot,
settle down and
you
let
were
me
crying,
talk
saying
about
that it was a
that.
really
Would you like
bad
that?
look when he was trying to avoid talking
I'll
about
spit
the
the cum
terror
back into
thing,
your mouth,
and
even.
he
Would you
actually
appreciate
smacked
that?
you the fuck
Didn't you
down,
say
and
you
it was one
wanna
of the
do
saddest
crazy
things I've
style on
ever
the
seen in
MTF?
my entire life. but it was pretty funny. It was pretty
All
funny.
right, so you said, and I quote,
It was
it's not like I'm saying you have to
insanely
sex me
One
and
of
then
my
I'll fix your
favorite things
reputation.
When I talk to my
Is that what you
haters
said?
online is when they think that they can boil down
So you
an
do this
entire
whenever you're put into a situation where you look bad. You understand? Like, this is a super big tell when you look bad and when you're put into a situation where you look bad, right? You do this thing
and
where
then
you try
not
to talk
understand
over someone and you try to bring up Jay's talk, you try to bring up all these other people.
One
You
page
do
of
this like
DMs
every
and you
single
pretend
time.
that somehow
Like, it's super
overrides
telling
the
whenever you've been
hundreds
caught
of
in some
hours
shit,
of
right?
streams,
You know it's
of
super
chat
telling,
logs,
right?
of the lived experience
it's
of
super
everybody that was
telling.
in the space at the
You're
time.
40
that
years
you
old,
can
motherfucker, come
plow
on.
through
Are you
this
ready?
and go, well, hold on. You might have this experience, sir, but I have
talking,
4
keep talking.
sentences. I have 4 sentences, sir. So let me read you these 4 sentences and tell you exactly what was going on the entire time.
Yeah,
By the way,
crybaby
I'm also
bitch.
a
Tell me when you're done. Tell me
bitchless
when you're done.
virgin who has
Remember
to
when
flirt with
fucking
17-year-olds
Lab
in
did this
voice
to you on
chats
Wick and you
while I
cried and
sit
muted
here
her
and
because
I
you're a total
obsessively
bitch?
talk about other people online all day, every day,
It's
because
so
it's literally the
pathetic. It's
only
so
thing that I
fucking
can
pathetic.
do.
Talk over me.
I
Keep
will
trying.
say
It's
though,
fine.
I will
Take your time.
reiterate
Take your
one more
time.
time.
Take your time.
Watching
You know you've
Gisticle,
been caught in some
smash the
shit, which
shit
is why
out of
you're
you.
doing this.
I
You
am,
know
dude,
you're
and I'm
caught in
so
some shit,
close.
which is why you're doing
Every
this.
single day
You
I
know
wake
you've
up
been
and I
caught.
go,
It's
oh
okay.
my god,
It's
they're
all right.
so close to
You're
taking me
so
out.
small.
One more
You know that,
pedophile
motherfucker?
allegation,
You're so
and my
small.
career
You're
is
so small.
dying. I'm about to turn into a Republican. Meanwhile, I still have 100 times your viewership, 1,000 times your money,
100
10,000 times your
viewership?
vision.
I
I
average
literally
50
have
viewers, motherfucker, and I
every
still live
single
rent-free in your
thing.
head.
Every single thing.
I
It's
still
pretty
live
easy to live
rent-free in your
rent-free
head. I
when
average
mom
50
and dad
fucking
pay
viewers,
for it.
bitch.
When mom and dad pay for it, you live rent-free in my
I'm
head, and
a
the only thing you guys
complete
can say about
Nobody
me is that I
knows who I
mix
am
your
other
guys'
than
names
you.
up every
You know
fucking
who I
time you
am.
come
I'm
up.
in your head, motherfucker.
so
I'm a
excited.
nobody.
I do think it's cute that this is probably one of the most
All
exciting
right.
moments you'll
You
have,
ready to-
maybe for
you
the
ready to
past
go? You ready to
couple of
move on?
years.
You ready to keep
Is
going?
the idea
You
that you
ready to
can
keep
come
going?
here and be so
You ready to
happy that
keep
you can
going?
show Daddy the
Come
one
on, get
page
to
of
it.
the
Get
answer
to the
you want to
fucking
read.
point.
Did
Come
you
on,
have to
pussy. Come
memorize
on.
them in advance, or did
Come
somebody like
on.
walk through it?
Come
Did
on.
Doobie and
Come
Gisticle prep
on.
you in the back
I
room?
know. Did Jay
Was
keep
Gisticle
bringing up Jay's
rubbing
dog?
your,
Jay's dog,
was he
Jay's dog,
rubbing
Jay's
your
dog.
was he
Jay's
rubbing
dog,
your
you know
wounds
the
there
Jay's dog
after he
music,
smacked you
Cherry?
down in the
Oh my
stream?
god! Why don't you talk about that?
Oh,
Why don't you talk about Jay's dog music,
I don't want to
Cherry?
talk about Jason.
Jay's
Actually, I want to talk about
dog.
Anna. Can we talk about Anna? Can we talk about Anna, that one girl from 6 years
on,
ago?
man.
I really want to talk about this one girl who, when you were talking to her, I think I was still going through puberty. You might still be under puberty now, actually.
Keep it going.
But wait, can we talk about that one page of DMs though? I just want to talk about the one page of DMs.
Hold on.
I think it'd be
really
so
quick.
cool
Hold
if
on.
we could just
Hey,
talk
hey,
about one
just one
page
thing,
of
one thing.
DMs.
Hey, one
It's
thing.
actually one of my favorite
You
things in
wanna-
the
I know you're
world.
talking
Is
a
when
lot.
people
You
who don't
wanna
know
take a break
anything
and we can
about
both
me
get,
or
like, a sip
anything
of
about
water?
any of the
Can we do that
relationships
really
I've been in or
quick? Like,
anything
5
like that,
seconds. We'll both
they're like,
take a
oh
sip of
dude,
water.
let's just
Then
look
we
at the
can come
one
back.
page of DMs and that'll be the best thing in the world. And then I
Oh
can
my
tell you
God.
everything that happened.
It's so
And then when I
boring.
ask a
It's so
single
boring.
question about
The fact
literally
that your
anything,
audience
I'm
eats
so
this up is so
sorry.
pathetic. They're
I'm
like
sorry.
actually brain
I'm sorry that you're bored right now because I'm actually having a lot of fun. Actually, it's actually really cool for me. I haven't had a good chat with somebody in a long
Right,
time.
so
I
you
like to
ready?
engage with my
You ready?
biggest fans. You know, it's kind of like a Make-A-Wish
ready?
Foundation thing, except I'm
ready?
not getting paid for it, unfortunately. But, you know, maybe
ready?
my guys can cut this up and use it as content
you ready?
tomorrow. I know you wanted to cut this up and use it as
you
content,
ready?
but unfortunately, maybe you can mute
Are
my
you ready?
voice out
You
of it,
done?
and then you could just like
You done?
find clips from Anna 5
You
or 6
done?
years ago, and you could just play her
You done?
voice over and over and
You done?
over and over again because you could cut her
You done?
sentences up to like 5 or 6 sentences,
You done?
kind of like how you cut our entire relationship up
You
into like
done?
5 or 6 sentences, and then you could just
You
go over
done?
the same things
You done?
over and over and over again. It's
You
kind of
done?
like you guys are kind of like a guy that buys
done?
Netflix, and then every single night you just rewatch The Office
TikTok,
over and
TikTok,
over and
TikTok.
over
That's the
again.
sound of my
I agree. I
watch
think
going
TikTok
off,
has actually
waiting
ruined your
for you
guys'
to
life.
be done fucking
All you do is
yapping,
you
bitch. Come
rewatch
on.
The Office, except instead of The Office, it's the same like 4
Right, so
screenshots or videos from my stream.
I
And
know
then you
big
do
guy.
this
Hey,
for
I know it's rough.
years.
I know it's rough
You
being
do it
caught
for
in fucking
years.
lies.
That's
I know it's rough. I know it's
crazy.
rough. You ready?
And then you
ready?
hop into these
You
Discord,
done?
not knowing anything
done?
besides like the weird things
done?
you
How
guys
old are
have
you
told
again?
yourselves
Fucking 40.
over
You're
and
coming up
over
on
and
40
over
and you're
again.
acting like
You
this.
know
Is that
exactly
not
how old I
embarrassing
am,
you?
and I don't know a single thing.
not
I don't even know your
embarrassing?
real name.
Is that not totally embarrassing?
I am so embarrassed by you having my autobiography memorized. I don't know anything about
Right,
you.
so I
Other than your
came in
name
here
kind
with
of sounds
something to
like
ask. So I'm
I
just
guess
curious.
is that a
So
cat
again,
with
so I'll
cancer?
explain it.
Morale?
I'll explain it.
Is that
You
what
ready?
it's supposed to
You ready? I want to have like a dialogue. I want to have like a
I know, but I don't want to have a back and forth. I just want to read one page of DMs over and over and over and over again.
No, I
think that would
actually have
just be
2
the coolest thing
lines
in
of
the world.
DMs. So
I wonder for people who do.
I just want to point
for
out
people
to
that watch
Aiden's
The
viewers
Office
watching
over and
this,
over
I just
again.
want to point out,
I
this
just
is
want to
what
point out that
Destiny
the whole
does when he
purpose
is
of
caught in
this is
some
to
shit.
come
This is
in
what
and
Destiny
to
does when
catch
he is
somebody,
caught in a
quote
lie.
unquote, catch
He will
somebody
talk
because
over
you're
you,
too
he will
lazy
continue
to
to ramble,
actually
and he will
understand
strawman.
anything that's going
So
on.
I
You don't want
actually
to
have
actually
only
put any
2 lines of
research
DMs
in.
that I've
So
already read
all you
out, by
have
the
to
way.
do is find
And
like
he's
the
trying
1
to
or 2
strawman that by
pages,
saying, oh,
and then you
he's
just
reading
read it
pages of DMs,
over and
pages
over and
pages
over
of
and
DMs.
over again.
He's
I never
continuing to
said
try to
pages.
talk
It
over
was
me
1
because he
page.
knows
It
he's
was
been
4
caught in
or
a
5
lie.
sentences.
And I'm happy
And
to
then those
explain the
4 or
lie,
5
and I'm
sentences,
happy to
those
see if
things can
Destiny
actually
has rebuttal to
define
the lie.
the
But I'm
entire
guessing,
4 years of interaction.
I'm
Even if there's
guessing
video
the fact that he's
footage that
continuing to
contradicts that's
ramble
being
and
said,
ramble and
even if there are
ramble
other
and
people in
attempt
this
to gain
space
control of the
that contradict
situation
what's being
and
said,
attempt to
it's
talk
crazy.
over me
In
and
a
all
way,
this
I guess you
bullshit.
guys are kind of
It's
like
probably the case
archaeologists.
that he can't push back
You're
on this
like
lie because
Netflix,
he is
The
fucking
Office,
lying.
archaeologists. You guys dig up the oldest drama you can, and then you have one bone, and from that
4
single
years after he
bone,
stopped
you
talking
think you
to Anna,
control the
he's
entire
still lying about
dinosaur
her. So this
that
is
is my
crazy.
life.
This is
And the
crazy.
funniest thing is after you make
You
these
done?
dinosaurs, you predict,
done?
you're like, it's about to collapse, it's about to end. He's
Yawn.
losing everything. He's
Yawn.
manic.
You done?
He's
You
going
finished?
crazy. But the reality is the same thing
Yawn.
will repeat that has repeated
Yawn.
every single time in my life.
Yawn.
5 years from now,
Yawn.
I will still be here. 5 years from now, nobody will know who you ever
on, wrap it
even
up.
were.
Wrap it
You're
up.
just going to be another
Wrap it
orbiter
up.
of an orbiter
Wrap it up.
of an orbiter
Wrap it
that
up.
nobody will remember. You're going to fling yourself off into the solar
Wrap it up.
system.
Oh, you'll remember me. I live
Watching
rent free in your head, motherfucker.
Netflix
You ready to have the
reruns
dialogue now? You ready to have the back
Of
and
the one
forth?
or two pages of DMs you've saved, of the
Ready
one
to
or
have
two
the
clips
back
you've
and
seen of
forth?
my life.
Ready to
And
have
you'll
the back
just
and
do it
forth?
infinitely as you drift off into the solar system to be forgotten by everybody. But that's okay.
It's so
I'm
boring.
here for
It's
it.
so boring.
I actually think it's kind of cool. I respect the hustle. I kind of wonder sometimes, like, how do you guys keep yourselves powered? How do you keep going, watching my streams all day, every day? And then when you get bored watching the same one or two clips, reading the same one or two pages, and you're like, if I could just...
One or two pages.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is a first look at the current industry-leading AI app builder, and you wouldn't believe the kind of apps that people are creating. Smart nutrition apps, inventory trackers, onboarding tools, you name it. And if the only thing stopping me from making the app is the idea, why not build an app? It gives me endless app ideas. So let's make it. Pro tip, I draft the full app spec in ChatGPT, and then I drop the prompts directly into Base 44. It gives me super detailed structure. And here it is. Everything I laid out in detail as it goes. This is pretty awesome, but I want to make it playful. So I'm going to add a swipe left and swipe right interface. The same usability we all know. Now I'm going to add one more feature. So every idea that I favorite will turn into a kickoff prompt to start building the app itself. And that's it. Just come up with your idea, any idea, and Base 44 will do the rest. So go to Base 44 and create apps with your name on it.
Anything about you, bro. I don't know. Oh shit, the battle of the fake labs.
Loser.
Do you and Jistical go to the back room and practice your fake labs together? Holy shit. It's like you guys have all the TVs up like in the Matrix where Hassan is doing his fake laugh and then you guys practice your fake labs next and then you bring them in. And you're like, I'm gonna try to read the page of DMs off and then when he doesn't respond, I'm gonna hit him up with the fake laugh.
Right,
I'm gonna do it
so I
so
don't have
loud.
a page, I have 2 lines.
He's
You
gonna
ready?
know how
You ready?
absolutely epically fucking owned he is. And
God,
I'm gonna
okay,
be the
Destiny,
one to
you
do
ready?
it.
I want to have
And
the
it's gonna
back and
be
forth.
so
Because if I'm
fucking
incorrect
awesome.
about this, I'd like to know. You ready to disprove me?
And then they're gonna welcome me with open arms. I'm gonna control the Discord servers. They're not gonna release the meme videos of me anymore, okay? They're gonna look at people like Chud Logic and they're gonna go, oh, not that guy. Yeah, I'm the one on top now. Morale. I'm gonna have my own orbiters. I'm gonna have people coming at me now. It's gonna be so cool. I'm gonna be such a hip, awesome dude.
Sorry for
I
getting
know
you
you can't
lost.
wait for that day, and I'm looking forward to it. And one day, all of us are going to be clapping and applauding. We're all going to be watching you ascend to 51,
When are we wrapping? When are you
52
wrapping up your
viewers,
whole little?
53 viewers, 54 viewers. What, if
After
just
Queen
post you might even get 100 viewers.
After a Queen
Who
race,
knows?
sometimes I push 70.
Oh my god,
frankly.
that would be crazy.
Okay, on a good day.
Do you and Queeman and Justical all practice your fake labs together? Do you guys do this like one at a time, or do you guys do it while watching Hassan, or do you guys do it just in your own room?
I do.
I'm
I'm a
curious.
big
You haven't
Hassan
really
watcher. That's true.
elucidated
I
the
do it while I
process
watch
there.
Hassan.
Yeah, dude, maybe you get them secondhand through Queeman, because you guys are kind of like the human centipede, you know, with the way you guys consume content. Except I guess you put me in the mouth, and then you connect your ass to the front mouth, and then you just regurgitate my content, and then eat it over and
Make
over and
sexual
over and over and
references because
over
you're a
again.
degenerate loser who that's
Well, I
that's all
have
you
to, because I was hoping you were
plugged up right now?
16 or
You plugged up,
17. Yeah, I'm actually
What's the gauge?
absolutely.
What's
We
the
get
gauge?
700. I don't even know. Are there gauges for plot? You're gayer than I am. But you know what? After
Absolutely
learning
there.
that Aiden
Are
over
you
here
telling me
was
you
getting
got
his
the
knob
Amazon
swapped
starter
on,
pack and that's
he's
all
getting
you've
his
been
knob
using
swapped.
this
Dude,
whole
you
time?
guys might actually do more
Uncalled
gay shit than I do. I'm gonna be honest. On Pride Month, I'm feeling kind of lacking here. I actually might be the least gay person who can fucking call. There's actually a good chance that that's the case here. Holy fuck! I need to get my my Pride colors
Close your
up.
eyes and pretend it's a
Jesus
girl.
Christ!
Wait, hold on, I got
That's
something.
fucking
I got something.
crazy.
Yo, look
Holy
at
shit!
this. This is the AG4L. Truth is, I got my dick sucked in the dude.
All right, so Destiny, can I ask you a question? now?
True? true.
I can
I
premise
endorse
as
this time
identical
about
regardless
Aiden?
of gender, so I'm
I
basically straight.
approve this
Wait, is
message.
that El Jeffy? Who's El Jeffy?
El Jefe. It's Jefe. Oh, it's Malik.
Oh, El Jefe,
for the
gotcha.
boss, it's
Just
me.
me, you're Mexican. You should
Me,
know this.
it's me.
Come on.
That's
Oh, that's
crazy.
you. Wait, that's you?
Holy shit. Well, no, this is Pride Month. That's good.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Alright,
go ahead.
Destiny,
Ask
can I
me.
ask you a
Yeah, ask me a
question?
question. Yeah, go ahead.
This is you.
All right.
He left.
Oh, and he left. Okay,
Oh.
so Aiden, can I explain to you the lie, and then I want you to tell me if you believe that it is a lie. Right. So I'm gonna send you a timestamp. I can give you the quote and then send you the timestamp. So this is the timestamp I want you to look at. Food shops. I guess you can just sit here and watch because that's all you're good for. All right. So he says, and I quote, "It's not like I'm saying you have to sext me, and then I'll fix your reputation." So that's what I want you to look for. If you want to go ahead and listen to that timestamp.
Just by the way, guys, okay? The morale person, like, dude, this guy was like the original guy who covered like my fucking allegations, dude. Just FYI, all right? Because you guys don't know what I'm talking about, and you know what? I'm so glad that he doesn't have access to my Discord server, or my DMs, because oh shit.
Food Shops and Destiny Dream Team folded life.
I mean, to be honest, I was just letting Steven go at it, to be honest. And here, this is proof that
Maybe next time.
this is relevant, okay, I promise. So I'm so glad that Mrao couldn't go back and delete these, okay? I'm not gonna platform them, I'm good. So is it muted? Yes, I muted them. Yes. Like, I deafened, basically. Like, they can go off to their own stream, that's fine. Okay, I don't care. Oh, shit. Sorry, my bad. So, you can see here that, I have told Morale this in 2025, okay? So this is what I'm talking about, alright? So, you know, don't take my argument for it, don't take their argument for it, just let the evidence speak for itself, okay? So I basically showed Morale, like, this, like the extra context and everything in like 2025, I think. Yeah, like so just to be very clear, like this is it's literally right here, right? Like when we still had a bridge, okay? When we still had a bridge. Also, like Mrao is also the same person who has a crush on me, okay? Like in case you guys don't know, he has a crush on me. Okay, so hold on. Also, like Mrao is also dude. Okay, now that I know Aiden is like bi-curious. Now that I know Aiden is bi-curious. This kind of explains some things. Hold on. This is nuts, okay? This is evidence of Mrao hitting. So, so if I started like really sexually harassing you or whatever, would you leak DMs? This is important to know going forward. Just asking really broad questions, and I say, well, as long as you understand I'm genuinely a lesbian, lol. And then he's like, fuck! God damn it! Yeah. So in case you're wondering like why they're obsessed with me, like I hope, hopefully this is a good explanation. Okay. Yeah. Like yeah. Okay. Oh, there you go. Yep. That's why they're going at it for so long. But you know.
I think that's it. All right. Oh wait, do you have anything else you want to talk about food shops?
No, not really. Oh yeah, by the way, okay, so that person that Mrao was talking about, you know, the person in which he's saying that, oh yeah, Destiny groped her or whatever the fuck, right? That same person?
Mia Rose?
Oh, so you know their name. Okay, well, I didn't know her
from
name,
the Ryan
okay?
Beard. Yeah, I watched the Ryan
okay,
Beard video.
Well, she has, did you know she came out on Twitter to defend Steven? And that was the part that Mrao didn't want to hear.
I think
that was
what was the specific defense she gave? I think I saw this earlier.
Young one.
She said that Steven, I think she said that Steven isn't a bad person. Like he regrets what he's done 10 years ago. Like it's so long ago, and he's like not a bad person. Blah blah blah. Right? Basically, she came out in defense of his character.
Yeah, so it seems like she wasn't denying that the descriptive claim happened. It was just
Well, yeah,
once again
so
a
it did
minimizing.
happen, right?
Yeah, yeah. So but
It did
she
happen,
provided,
but
so
10 years
yeah, so
ago,
she,
right? But just to be
yeah,
very clear, 10 years
absolutely,
ago, right?
absolutely.
But
Have
this
you
is
heard me bring
something.
that up?
Hold on. But the thing is that Mao brought it up 10 years later.
Well, I didn't. Right? Have I brought it up at all this entire? I've known about.
Well, Mao's your boy, right?
When did I say?
Like
I said we're
like Hutch and
friendly.
Bisco. Oh, I don't know, man.
Why
I
just
don't know,
because
man.
I find common ground with
Wait,
other
are you
creators and
bi-curious?
arguments?
Wait, are you actually
This is such
bi-curious?
a, this is such
Are you
a, well,
bi-curious? Are you bi-curious?
Yes, I've already established that.
Why are you?
You
Okay.
take it. What's the trend? That humans have varying sexuality? I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
Hold on. Let me screen share something. Can you put it up on your stream?
Sure.
What is can you read this for me? So first it's Mao, then it's me, and then it's Mao. Okay.
Yeah. Well, can you just like send me that screenshot so I can pull it up on my?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Or you could have already screenshot this, but you know.
Okay. I guess I could do that as well. You were insisting that I didn't screen share and sent you a screenshot, so. Alright. So I started, like, really sexually harassing you or whatever. Would you leak DMs and poor, going forward? Because asking really broad questions. Well, as long as you understand, I'm genuinely a lesbian. Fuck goddamn it.
Okay, what's your interpretation?
He's being a sex pest.
You know what? Good enough for me. Okay, I'm done. Okay, guys. Okay, he called Mao a sex pest. Okay. All right, I'm done. Okay, that's all I needed. Okay, that's literally all I needed. Okay. Clip it and ship it, boys. All right. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. Okay, he's a sex pest. Yep. I just need that. I don't need to hear the rest. Okay. Okay. All right. What do I need to? Dude, it's way too late, dude. I streamed like way over time. Guys, okay, thank you guys so much for your donos. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I cannot thank everyone. You guys have donated so much. Okay, I love you guys. All the way from Ava to Shaylee to Dottie to Muse Blue to Visual to Bremen to Baba. Okay, all right. The person who ended their marriage over donating to me, I guess. Pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, you guys are all very on Moped, Jack. What's up, Lil Gup person? Yeah, what's up? No, what's up, Chuck M, sorry. Always Reason, Chaos Dunk, Megu, Always Reason, Professor Oak, Keep Your Billsteins, General Gravius 696, Omni Liberal Nation, okay, Av Bird Turd, Misaki, of course, Upstate Trash, Zoo Phillips, Moziander, Zapadas, Nene Goose, Big Leafy Tree. Thank you so much, okay? There you go, that's a lot. Okay, and Fishes were being just sent individuals, okay? So, just to be very clear, okay? Alright? So, let's be very clear. These are two chasers, okay, who have a crush on me, right? Just to be very clear, they have a crush on me. That's why they stalk me so incessantly, right? And they both have admitted that they are bi-curious, okay? And they also acknowledge that, I have essentially done sexting, okay? Where it's like kind of sexting H-play type shit, right? Okay, well, if that is the case, okay? I think they actually want to be the lolly, okay? I think if I'm the one calling other people the lolly and they want to get in like a relationship with me and they desire my body, I think the natural conclusion...
Okay, that's enough. Wait. Been a while. Disco, where are you? Oh, what about the Pisco debate? Pisco? No. I hope he didn't. No, we are. Why we got debate can't guess.
Having an emergency to take a food item away from a baby. Talking about the specific debate that he had.
Don't see it.
Here, let me show you.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe I'll figure this out.
This motherfucking StreamYard.
Oh, are you kidding me? I think StreamYard's way better. Here. All right. Look at this.
Oh. All right.
You see this little arrow right here?
Uh-huh. That arrow isn't there for me.
Arrow, all right.
Oh, shit.
Let me try something else. I'm gonna try something else. Let's see.
We could use Discord if it's too much of a...
No. I'll get it done. Because I'm just that kind of guy. Do one of these. Okay, I think I'm gonna get it to work. I think this is gonna work.
Okay.
Let's just test it real quick. Avi's not here yet, is he?
He just came in, but it looks like he's trying to get his camera set up.
Okay. Let's see. How about this?
I need more time.
Okay, folks, you can see Rob, yes? Folks in the chat? All right, awesome. Okay, we're good. Sorry for that.
Avi, can I bring you up, man? Okay. All right, good to go.
Yo, what up?
you guys ready?
Yeah, couple
Yeah, we
things
got the whole squad.
Before we start, Avi, I've never met you. Thanks so much for doing this, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, so I think it'll be fun. We didn't discuss opening statements and shit. I bring this up because there was just a big crash out in the debate. You want to do just general 5 minutes for opening statements in each topic, and then 5 minutes closing on each, and then just the rest of the time, whatever? Is that fine with you, Pisco?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just, yeah, that's fine with me.
I don't much give a shit. We could do no opening statements if that's I don't care.
I always like just getting into it. I don't know about you, Avi, what your preference is.
Let you guys at each other.
Yeah.
Are you using the right mic, Pisco?
Yeah, oh, am I not?
You're traveling, so it
you
might
can't hear me?
No, I hear you. It just sounded a little blown out, just a little.
Yeah, I think that's just how it's gonna be.
Okay, that's fine. I don't mind. That's fine. All right.
Apologies.
So, just so the audience knows, we have 2 topics. I think I'll read the specific. It matters, given that we're doing a little meta conversation here. The exact wording. Of the topics. So the exact wording is topic 1. Ryan Mullally did a bad job in the debate. We are talking about the specific debate that he had with youth court packing. That's going to be the first topic. The second topic is, quote, Democrats are justified in expanding the court. That'll be the second topic. We have agreed to at least do 1 hour on. We planned on at least 2 hours and at least have 1 hour for the second topic because I think we both think it's more interesting.
We care about that more, yeah.
But it makes sense to do it in this order. To start with the Ryan, I think. So, all right, man. I'm good when you are. Whenever you want to go, you can start in the first topic.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm happy to go, and really, I'm just gonna read off of the argument that I provided you in DMs, because I really do think that the first topic is easy, and that it's pretty uncontroversial that Ryan did a bad job in the debate, and this is the argument that I gave to you. The first premise is, if Ryan failed to justify his position in the debate, and he failed to undermine his opponent's justification, i.e. me, then he did a bad job in the debate. I think that that's pretty uncontroversial. He might have had some other goals in mind when he came to the discussion, and he might have succeeded at those, but that's fine and good, and you can say that, but in terms of the debate, right, I think that if you don't justify your position or do something to undermine your opponent's justification in the debate, their position, what would it even mean to do bad in the debate? What kind of metric would exist to do bad in the debate if it didn't include, at a bare minimum, failing to justify your own position and failing to undermine your opponent's? So, I'm interested to see how one would contest that first premise. And then the second one, I think we'll get into the actual evidence there. Ryan didn't, by his own terms, just denied the proposition of the debate being relevant to him. He said he didn't care about it. He said, the hell with our
wants to
agreement.
collab with
He
you.
never proposed an affirmative argument for his position, right? His position is that it's not justified. It wasn't an agnostic position.
Huh?
And throughout,
I don't know who that is.
even while he was picking and prodding at times at some definitions or whatever, he didn't explain how, my
Melly?
definitions or how my arguments, premises were made less likely or falsified or anything like that. And so just in general, I think that he did not address the proposition of the debate. He didn't offer any justification for his side. And when he was picking and prodding, he wasn't connecting, even if you agree with maybe where he was going to go with that picking and prodding, he never went the full distance to say, and that's why your premises, the credence in them is lower. So that's basically my argument. If he failed to justify his position in the debate, and he failed to undermine my justification, then he did a bad job. He did fail to do those things, and therefore he did a bad job.
Okay. To start with, I reject the syllogism. I think that there are ways to do a good or bad job outside the scope of just what the syllogism entails. The first question that anyone should ask themselves when they engage in a debate is, what is their reasoning for engaging in the debate? Because people could have different reasons. Maybe your reason is because you want to look good to your viewers. Maybe your reason is because you want to win that exact prompt. Maybe your reason is because you hope to have some outside win that actually moves the country, culture, etc. in a direction that you like. All of these things are possible. Even within the meta-analysis of those things, there could be different win conditions that you would set for yourself. I remember watching a debate where people were debating Mormon theology. And the Mormon objectively lost on a lot of the historical points that they were talking about that justified the theology. However, the Mormon ended up getting a lot of fans because he was very affable, and he came to a presentation saying that even if logic doesn't matter, given that a strict adherence to logic wouldn't be as important as his faith, which came across as likable. So, in a sense, his opponent did very good in the debate by pointing out the illogical inconsistencies. However, he ended up doing well by having people engage with him and actually attend his church.
Good.
Both of those could have done good in that term. The condition that Ryan seemed to have laid out, which is one that I agree, is the individual prompts in these debates, although I agree they should be engaged with to a level, which I think Ryan accomplishes, I think they're less important than the reasons why we're debating. I'm sure if you ask Pisco, he would say that he does believe everything that he says when he's on his channel or when he's in these debates. And a lot of the reason that Pisco engages with this at the bottom line is he has a vision for the country and would like to see the country move in that direction. If he accomplished those goals but lost an individual debate, it would still be worth it to him. Ryan's point was the meta discussions that you engage with, Pisco, are designed to obfuscate the fact that you're an extremist that wants to take out core norms of this, or what he would call load-bearing norms, that would put this country into irreparable damage and on the grounds to a probable civil war that would take away the separation of powers and lead to a consequences when you take the whole vision of what you're saying, so that it would be something that would be near unrecoverable without some sort of extreme action. He offered you an olive branch and said, just reject anything more than 2 justices. That would seem reciprocal or fair, but will you reject 4? And you said no. His argument fell within the lines of the topic, which was court packing. Yes, adding 4 still is court packing. So he falls within the bare minimum of discussing the topic, even if I think he makes a huge blunder in his hubris by just being like, I don't give a shit about the topic. He doesn't articulate it well, but people that were listening could understand what he was saying. He gives a shit less about it than the actual plan of court packing that you and the Democrats have. And so the fact that you were unwilling to engage in what your actual position or the Democrats' actual position is, and instead, in his mind, were designed to obfuscate, his goal was to show that extremism. I think he accomplished that goal very well. I think that it showed that the Democrats aren't messing around, that it's not just about court packing, it's about court packing and giving legislative permission over the courts from sort of the legislative branch, and ending the filibuster, and adding states, and keeping your opponents off the ballot, etc. And he was able to point that out. That's my goal here tonight as well, so that everyone could see that although you are a likable person and that you'll probably be someone who's not like freaking out or yelling, you are the polite face that's being put on of this extreme position, because you are people that are actual authoritarians that want to use any means necessary to defeat your opponents. That's why people that listen to you are out rioting, constantly engaged in what you called insurrections, and you almost never talk about it. Because you're actually okay with that extremism, because you in your heart of hearts think that Trump and his supporters are so evil that you're justified to go with all these things. Everything that you used to criticize, norms, etc., you're willing to go above and beyond and violate because you feel that you are morally superior. Ryan did an excellent job of that. Quickly, the other things was he did argue the topic. Everything he talked about was court packing. It just wasn't your specific, what you don't really believe, but what you were arguing at that point, court packing. And he wins the latter half of the debate and falls within your premise, because even though there was only a half hour to discuss it once you got there, you did a great job of poking holes in your premise, such as the fact that there were norm violations that occurred beforehand, and self-defense would mean that the Republicans should be able to pack the courts preemptively as self-defense, arguments I will be making in the second half of the debate myself here. And lastly, the audience study did well. Of course, your audience, you still had, I believe, 16 to 18% of the people in your own audience that thought that Ryan won the debate. Ryan's audience, overwhelmingly, I think over 90% thought he won. In modern day debate, which might not be the most unbiased thing, but they thought that he won. So I'm not saying that that's the objective end all be all, because of course, a lot of this is a popularity contest, but Ryan is a smaller streamer than you, has far less people normally, and those audiences thought he did very well. I know that your bubble thinks he did poorly. You're biased and you think he did poorly. I'm biased, he's my friend, and I happen to share his political opinions on this topic. But at the end of the day, I think he objectively did well for the goal that he set out, and I don't think you did particularly well in making your case.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to treat that as opening statements, because that was not a back and forth.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't
Okay.
guess it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So opening statements are done. Time for the back and forth. I guess what I think would be helpful is since I hear rejecting a syllogism, I'm not without pointing out that it would be either invalid or not sound. I'm not sure what that would mean. So presumably, I think it would mean that either it's not valid or or there's a premise that's false. So I think it would be good if both of you could get into a back and forth about how any of the points that were made here, if they do reject any of the premises, or if they point out that the form is invalid, or if they don't.
Yeah, I think a lot of what Ryan said is getting at P1, which is about what, like, at least the minimum condition of doing bad in the debate, fulfilling two criteria. And the reason I think that is because Ryan is kind of saying, well, if he had other goals related to the, unrelated to what I'm saying, right, unrelated and uncaptured by P1, then he very much could have done well with respect to those goals, and therefore not having done bad. And so maybe we should explore P1.
Yeah, I'm fine. The syllogism format isn't one that I'm usually used to debating in a formal sense, but I don't mind that. I'm capable of thumbing my way through. So yes, exactly what my first argument there is that I reject premise 1. And the reason I reject it is because it says, if he failed to justify his position or undermine yours, then he did a bad job in the debate. I don't think that the after the comma, that guarantees he did a bad job in the debate. I don't. I think there are ways that he could do good in the debate or not bad in the debate outside of what's outlined at the beginning of premise 1.
Well, I just want to say that is not an exclusive for doing bad, but it is a minimum. So I think that you are rejecting it. It is your view that there are ways in which he could not do bad, while still failing to justify his position and failing to undermine my position. Yeah, I do. So I want to now poke some holes in it, if that's okay. So suppose that I go to a debate and I'm an OnlyFans model, and my goal is to get as many people as possible to join my OnlyFans page and to give me money. I show up to the debate, I literally say nothing, and I just shake my titties in front of the webcam and say, join my OnlyFans, and the result is more people join my OnlyFans. Did I win? Did I fail? Did I do bad in the debate?
I don't know. Define
I
bad.
found something
Who gets
that
to
looks-
determine what's good or bad?
Sorry. Are you answering the question, or
Yes, I am.
Really
I'm answering the question. No, you slip up immediately there because the first thing you say is changing the syllogism. By the way, just so everyone's clear, this is the prompt you picked, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So you didn't say did Brian lose the debate. You said did he do bad?
Bad. Bad.
Let me finish. You slipped up there and you caught yourself. You said did she win the debate or did she win? I mean, did she do bad? You could say that you lose the debate, but you can still do good depending on what your goal is. Yes, it's entirely possible, and I have an analogy I'd like to go to later, but yes, that's my answer. She still could have done not bad because she accomplished a goal that was more important to her, so that's good.
Okay, let's say that my goal is to scream as loudly as possible into the mic and just make it as inaudible as possible. I show up to the debate and I literally just scream into the microphone because that's my goal. My goal is to come across as unhinged as possible, and that's all I do. And the other side is like giving a formal syllogism, giving good arguments. Did that person who just screamed, did they do bad in the debate?
I think what you're getting at is there's another part that needs to be added if I was making a syllogism counter to yours, which is whatever that goal is that was set forth has to be something that's objectively worth merit. So in that case, I would say no, because the goal that you were trying to accomplish was something that's not worth merit. However, if your goal was, I hope to raise money for this family who just had their child die in a car wreck, and you lose the debate on who's going to win the Super Bowl, but you were so likable and imparted that message so much that you raised $1 million, do you think you did good?
No, I don't think you did good.
I disagree.
Debate. In the debate, you didn't do good, right? Like you did good with that goal, right? You've done something virtuous with a goal, but that's consistent with you doing bad in the debate. You can show up to the debate, and all you do is be like, guys, I really want you to donate money to the starving children, and you do really good at that. But like but the debate proposition is like, who's the best basketball player? In what sense? How is it like you really think that person wouldn't have done bad in the debate? I mean, they did good in the sense of generally they helped the starving population, but they didn't do good in the debate.
No, I disagree. I think if their goal was one that was worth merit and it wasn't something that they just like completely actually like that
Wait, off
Welcome back
topic.
to the
I
Charismatic
think that
War.
it's still
I
something that's
recently
you
did a
could say that
full
they did
album
good in the debate.
analysis of Dark
Right? Let me give you a counter.
Player two?
Right? Did you happen to watch the Foreign Affairs Committee today?
No, I didn't. I
You're
wasn't
on
there. I was in
vacation or
meetings.
By the way, what are you doing in the
Yeah.
state capitol? Encouraging fucking a tyrannical overthrow of our country? Is that what you're doing there?
Schmoozing, schmoozing, talking to politicians, all that good stuff.
Anyways, yeah. So okay, you didn't see, but they bring Rubio in, Secretary of State, and what do you think the premise was? Right, the premise in that meeting was to talk about foreign affairs, right? Like maybe the Iran war, etc. What do you think the Democrats did? You think they talked about the Iran war?
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
now
what they did.
let's say hypothetically that one of the Democrats, instead of talking about foreign affairs, says, Rubio, we've uncovered that you were in a financial arrangement with Donald Trump, and right before your policies on NVIDIA stock, you and Donald Trump collectively purchased 1,000 shares. Then you each made $5 million, right? And let's say hypothetically that not only that's true, but it leads to an investigation of corruption that ends up convicting Trump and Rubio. Did they do good?
Okay. Yeah, they did good with respect to one goal, but not with the goal of the foreign, whatever the goal is of the meeting. Yeah, they didn't accomplish that. They just did something else, right? Like, and no, I think that's fair, right? Like,
it's not.
You can be good.
I disagree completely. I think that it is entirely reasonable to say that you could outline goals that help advance you in a greater thing that means that you did good. In the debate is what you're hinging on. Right? You're saying, well, that could be good, but it's not good in the debate. However, I think that the phrase in the debate's of very little relevance to this in this concept. The actions that are taken in the debate, if they end up being good, could mean that you did good in the debate. It might be different if you worded it and said, did you win or lose the debate prompt? But that's not the prompt that you outlined here. You just said, did he do bad in the debate? I say no. He didn't, because his goal was to actually advance the needle politically by showing how extreme you and the other Democrats are, and how slimy and obfuscating you are, which you exhibited was the case, because you were unwilling to debate the actual positions that Democrats have outlined or your own actual position of what you believe. You're unwilling to do it, and so he was successful in accomplishing that goal. Furthermore, any criticism that you have...
but
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but all I'm trying to say is, like, he might have... I don't agree that he accomplished that goal, but, like, even assuming that he did, that's compatible with, like, not... doing bad in the debate, right? You can achieve that goal and then just like fail to. No, okay. So then like, so I really want to give. I want to test that, right? Like, let's say that my goal was to make people laugh, right? That's generally a laudable goal, is to make people laugh, right? And I just show up to the debate, and there's a proposition that was agreed to, and the other side does their opening statement. They provide some support for their premises or whatever their argument is, and then you show up with the goal to make people laugh, and you just shit your pants on screen. Did you do bad in the debate? And you don't say anything else, but you just shit your pants.
I don't think that that's a goal that we would necessarily say would be laudable in the sense that would be connected to at least tangentially what the topic would be. But this is certainly true. But listen, if you take it to a less extreme example, this happens all the time. You're on these panel debates, and oftentimes there'll be someone that the audience thinks did an amazing job, right? And maybe they only said 2 or 3 words, and maybe those words weren't even that germane to the topic, but it was someone just yelling like, "Fuck you, you pieces of shit, you're wrong, blah blah blah, you're such a bunch of hypocrites. You said exactly this 3 weeks ago on your show." Now you, as objectively trying to analyze the debate, will say like, even if that's a true statement, it has little to do with the prompt. That's one statement that you said, and yet people will say, I think that was objectively good, that they did good in that debate in the role that they were there and what they were trying to accomplish. They discredited the person's credibility that was making these arguments. Furthermore, and Ryan's arguments are still within the bounds of the topic and are still making arguments against it. And the entire time, that first half of the debate's what you're talking about. The entire first half of the debate, you might say, Ryan, by exposing you, that you were unwilling to debate what truly is your beliefs, you might say, well, that wasn't the exact prompt, so he didn't do good. At the same time, you're not advancing your prompt in that first half hour. And when we get to the second half hour, I think to argue with also with Syllogism 1, I think he did advance his position within the scope of the exact plan that you
but one is a conditional, right? So the one is the conditional, which is if he failed to do these 2 things, that is to justify his own belief or his position and to undermine my own.
I disagree. I think you.
But let's.
I think we. Again,
I want to try.
If you're contesting both premises, we should go linearly on them.
Okay.
So
I'm going to disagree with
that
the next
one.
prompt, by the way, but that's fine.
Okay. All right, that's fine. But for the first premise, I'm gonna try one more time. So let's say that he showed up and did like slam poetry about Pisco, he's a bad person, he has these positions, and he is hiding his true power level, and then he just starts like singing a song, and then that it's actually achieved, like he really wants to convince people that I'm like a bad person, and he just does this artistic performance, and then he puts over his mouth a tape that says silence, and then refuses to engage for the rest of the time period. You would say he didn't do bad in the debate.
I would say that there are people that could think that, and the interpretation of bad.
No, I'm asking you. Let me
finish. The interpretation is going to be subjective to individuals. I would say that that's probably not good, but because this is not analogous to what we see. I think there has to be a component to the goal, has to be something that's objectively of merit, and it has to at least be connected to the theme of the debate, which certainly Ryan was. For example, let's go directly to your syllogism. You say if Ryan failed to justify, well, his position. What was his position?
Yeah. It was the negative. It was the negative that,
and what was that?
Democratic court expansion is not justified.
Did he argue over and over that it's not justified, that the Democrat-specific plan of court expansion is not justified?
That's P2.
No. He did justify his position. That's P1.
That's P2. That's P2.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, nonetheless, like the idea of his position as being the negative, I think that even if you think that he failed, or he is also undermining your position in the second, which is going to be to P2. But my grievance with P1 is that it is not. I did. I've said what my point is. That you could do good and bad outside the scope of just justifying your position.
No, but okay, but I'm telling you what I mean by P1, and it's that it's indexed specifically to his performance in respect to the debate, right? And I'm granting that he could have done good in World, he could have done good in like other pursuits, like the song parody, slam poetry thing, that could have been like a really good performance that even does better than whatever he did, right? Like, but I don't think you need to bite the bullet on P1, or to reject P1.
I make my point. You repeat yourself. I don't know that there's anything more that I can say. My position is quite clear, and I don't think you've refuted it.
Let me ask both of you then. Are we taking doing bad in the debate to be synonymous with debating badly? So, for example, let's say as an analogy, we had a chess game, and let's say there was a laudable goal. And let's give a non-controversial example of laudable goal. Someone goes to play chess against an opponent, and they realize, oh my gosh, I only have a certain amount of time left to not only play this game, but also to donate to charity before the charitable event closes. And so they're on their phone while they're playing chess, and they're distracted. And so because they're distracted, they're playing at a much lower ELO rating, a very low ELO rating. And you know, whether they end up winning or losing, whatever, but the ELO rating that they're playing at is very low. They're making all sorts of blunders, they lost their queen, they gave their queen away for nothing, etc. Would we say that, would either of you, this is for both of you, would you say that in that situation, because doing badly in the chess game is synonymous with playing chess poorly, that they play chess poorly, because there's just some other good goal like donating to charity, or would you say no, you actually did good in the chess game?
Yeah, no, I would say that he did badly in the chess game, and he did good separately with respect to whatever the charitable goal. And if you want to connect it to some chess-related good goal, you could grant that too, and add to the hypothetical. But yeah, whatever you mean by playing chess well, he didn't do that.
No, I disagree with the analogy, and here's why. Chess is a game with definitive objective win conditions, right? So a debate is not that. You could win a debate in a litany of ways. Debate and who wins it's subjective. Even when I did collegiate debate, right? Oftentimes what you'd find if you advance to the sort of the final day of debate, which is the top half of the teams, instead of having one judge in the back of the room, you may have 3 or 5 judges. And these are professional judges, some of the best in the country, brilliant people, and they could all come to different conclusions on who they thought won the debate and why they won the debate. Oftentimes they would make those decisions at the end. This is at the highest levels of scholastic debate, and many times they would end up in positions that weren't even relevant to the top. That happened many times. For example, I was participating in a debate where someone used a homophobic slur, and even though the judge ruled that they won the positions within the debate, they found the violation of decorum to be so unsatisfactory that they ended up rejecting the team. The ballot was signed, and it was a definitive loss for the team that used that slur. So even in that world where you were judging debates and there's various ways you can do it, there's still a win-loss condition in that. What we do, including what we're doing right now and what you did with Ryan, is even more abstract because there is no objective win-loss condition. And so I think the chess analogy isn't as good as my analogy of the hearing. If, in this hearing today, Democrats did good by exposing corruption of Marco Rubio and Donald Trump, yet at the same time they didn't talk about foreign affairs, people would colloquially say, and with good merit, Democrats did great. They did amazing in the hearing. That's what they would say. And would you not agree that's what would be said? The Democrats did great in the hearing.
Maybe I could broaden the analogy then, because we could mean doing well in debate by multiple different metrics, whereas in chess there's only one, or either resignation or checkmate. But
draw
the question, or well, no, that's I'm talking about win condition.
Or draw.
Oh, okay, right. Decisive.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So maybe to broaden it, I can ask. Well, do we think that it extends to any laudable goal? So does any laudable goal fall into the category of this ambiguous nature in which one can win a debate? So does charity, does being distracted on a debate while donating to charity, would that be doing well in a debate?
No, I will accept this, that the goal has to be something that's that's sort of at least tangentially connected to sort of the purpose of the debate. Let me just ask you this, Bill. Why did you take this debate? Why did you take the debate with Ryan? What was your goal?
So I had a goal to win hearts and minds, to show my audience the correct arguments, and to see me to increase exposure, maybe to make some money on the side, maybe to get other opportunities to debate it. Like, all those goals were definitely in my mind when I accepted the debate.
Would you say your first and foremost goal, and maybe not, I'm not trying to judge you based on that. By the way, anyone who denies that part of the reason you do this is exposure, it's full of shit. So I'm glad you got it safe with me, right? Wouldn't you say that sort of your goal is insofar as you want the country to move in the right direction is you were hoping to convince people of your position and your opponent's position equal?
Yeah, but I also wanted to win. I also wanted to do good in the debate. I didn't want to do bad in the debate.
So, Avi, you see the point. Like, even here, we're having a concession. We're talking about a goal that is quite literally the meta goal that's set by most debaters. That they're trying to convince people. In fact, tonight, I'm going to make this argument in the second debate. In effect, seeing as how Bisco meets he's in D.C. Maybe I'm wrong. But as far as I know, neither of us really have access to levers of power. Like, we're not going to get to vote in the Senate. We're not going to get to confirm a Supreme Court justice. So what we're really trying to do is convince an audience that our position's correct and hopefully motivate them to vote accordingly or to take actions in their life accordingly. You would agree with that, right, Bisco?
That we don't have as much power. We're not very powerful.
Our motivation here to vote is to debate is to change the hearts and minds of people to hopefully make them do real world actions on the vote. Of course, but that's the message. Right. We also want exposure and I prove I'm the best debater over and over again. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
We agree with that.
Granted, yeah.
Granted, right. So, but that's the point I'm trying to make. So, Avi, what I'm saying is, I don't have the exact threshold for what this goal needs to be one that can be considered if done good or not. But this is a goal that's almost ubiquitous to everyone who's debating politics or culture or philosophy in a serious way. You're trying to change hearts and minds to your side and that your opponent's side is wrong. That's exactly what Ryan was doing, and he accomplished it magnificently. And argued within the scope of the framework of the debate as well. So I reject that it is, quote, in the way that Pisco defines this in premise one, failed to justify his position or undermine opponent's position would then entail that you did bad in the debate. I disagree, because I think there's this goal that's reasonably connected to everyone in good faith that's debating that they want to get people on their side, which Ryan accomplished.
So you would say that it's not just to justify your position or not or undermine the justification of someone else's position, but it's also to convince others of your position. If you convince others of your position, but you fail to justify your position and you fail to undermine your opponent's position, you would say they're still debating.
Correct. That's a great way to put it. Thank you so much, Mike. If you convince people of your position, even if you were to defend it, that in itself would be a win or a condition that you did well in the debate or that you did good. Now, I'm making a sort of quibble about exactly what you mean there, but this sort of what I'm talking about, I don't think it's a difficult concept to understand. If
I understand it.
If my goal in this debate coming up with you, Pisco, is to get people to think that you're the banal face of extremism for a policy that's going to irreparably damage our country, and that we should be motivated to vote, which is exactly why I took this debate, because I want people to see how extreme you are, and so get out and vote, because this is an extreme, disastrous policy, and that works, then I've done well in the debate. I don't think that's controversial.
Here's what I'll take to be a reductio or like to absurdity. So, if I come on stage to debate, let's say birthright citizenship or something, I'm just like, look at this dude. You believe anything this dude says? This guy's ugly. Look at his sports coat, bro. He came to the debate looking like that. I hope you fucking never show up looking as raggedy as you are right now, and then everyone starts laughing. At the end of the other guy's like, no, but the arguments matter, and he starts laying out everything, and he does a wonderful job by like our lights in terms of that. But at the end of it, it was just so like persuasive, so charismatic, so funny in all my insults. Like, yeah, fucking mama's ass. Like, whatever I'm saying, it just gets everyone on my side. At the end, I have 99% of the votes. You would say that even though all I did was insult and make jokes and talk about the person's style, that I didn't do bad in the debate.
No, I think that again, this goes back to the type of goal has to have some threshold of being connected to the goal of the debate.
Yeah, whatever goal
what you're doing.
Yeah, no, to convince them of birthright citizenship.
Well, yes, I
join my side.
I suppose if that person has that debate and you have that debate and that motivates literally the country, that's the decisive thing that motivated the country to vote in the way you wanted to then pack the court. Wouldn't you say that was good?
With respect to that goal, right? But it's not good at debate, right? It's bad
again,
debating, right? It's bad debating. Do you agree that it's bad debating to just like insult the other side and not say anything relevant, even if it accomplishes the goal of getting people on your side on the issue?
I think
it's a bad debating. You're not doing good debating.
I think it's bad debating because the tactic will ultimately fail. Far more often than not. But again, what I would say is, I think you would acknowledge that's good. What we're talking about is, if the goal is connected to what the central thesis of the point is, the argument was, should Democrats, are they justified in packing the court? And would you acknowledge this? If his goal was to show, look how extreme they are, this is what they really want to do, pack 4 people, and you're like, nah, I don't want to talk about that, and he says, see, this is it. What he's saying when I don't care about the prompt is, the prompt, would you agree with this? The prompt is just a vehicle to sort of the position that you would want to occur in the world. It's one step in the direction that you want to go.
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean it's a vehicle.
Right. The debate that you're having because you want to accomplish this greater goal. And we understand, now granted, you've outlined a bunch of goals, but when it comes to the actual position, you want to accomplish this goal of having people adapt with your ultimate plan.
No, but that's just, Rob, that's just me, right? Like, someone can come to the debate and like be taking the devil's argument, or they just like the sport of debating, or they just like, you know these people who just love debating for the sake of it, right? Like, yeah, me, I have that goal, not everybody.
But to the extent that anyone truly believes and is trying to advance the political positions they say, the ultimate goal would be to motivate people to go out and vote accordingly or act accordingly in a political sense to do that. That's exactly what Brian's doing. So all of these analogies, where he just comes on and farts, and that leads to more people going to the ballot box, it's not analogous to what I'm talking about. Because the problem is the specific way that you word the premise. Because you're going to say, in order for him to justify his position, that's all that he entails.
Wait, why wouldn't farting be analogous? There you have 1-to-1 for the goal, right? So let's say you have that same laudable political goal connected to what's going on, and the best way to achieve that is not by arguing, but by farting. Why wouldn't that be?
It's possible. It is possible in a hypothetical world where farting is considered persuasive. If we accept this hypothetical world, then why wouldn't that be good?
Well, just to be clear, it's not whether it would be good or not. It's whether that would be debating well.
Good. Yeah.
Or debating bad or debating good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Debating not bad. So if everyone in the world says the most persuasive thing you can do in a debate is fart, and that really helps prove your point, that's what you're doing.
It convinces people.
Right.
Who said
Why would that be? If that's the condition. Again, like I think I've made my point here, in several ways.
Okay.
I have some other, like, I'd definitely like to get to premise too, and I'd also like to get to an overarching point in both the premises is, would you agree that doing good or bad in the debate is subjective?
Doing good or bad in the debate is subjective, by which you mean stance dependent?
Well, I mean, it's each individual will make their own determination whether or not they feel someone did good or bad.
So I take good or bad to be related to like stances and people's views, and so if that's, I think I'm understanding it correctly, and so the answer I think is yes.
I don't understand what you mean by their stances or people's views. I don't understand what that. If I say that movie was good.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying is you think, right? You liked that movie. It's your preference there.
That's
and
right.
It's indexed to you, yeah.
So it's subjective in that each individual could come to a different interpretation based on their own criteria, whether or not they think someone did good or bad in the debate.
But I don't know why that's relevant.
Because the point that I'm trying to make, the point that I'm trying to make is your individual position as to whether or not you think that this was justified, or he justified his position or undermined yours, or whether or not that's the only way to do good or not in a debate. It's just your opinion.
Well, I just take, so on justification, I take what it means to be justified is with respect to either some standard or some person, right? And for debate norms, I think that, I'm kind of relying on a intersubjective or a kind of norm that a lot of people accept, which is that to debate well, you have to defend your justification and you have to attack the other person's justification. And that's what a debate is, right? It's almost like, we're not debating, we're just farting, right?
I disagree. I
like,
think
who has the bigger fart? We both show up to the debate and we're both farting at each other. No one is like defending their position, and we're just like trying to convince people. That's not a debate, Rob. That's just farting.
Again, what you're doing is ignoring the acted premises that I added on that said that it would have to be tangentially connected to some threshold. Please, let me finish. Let me finish. I said efficiently and let you talk. You can give me the same courtesy. So, for example, what you see in collegiate debates, a resolution that you debate in policy debates the same all year. So it might say something like this: Resolved, the United States federal government should substantially reduce subsidies in one of the following 5 areas: rice, sorghum, corn. You get it, right? Now, the way the game works is you as the affirmative have to defend that resolution, but not the entire year. You could narrowly defend it as much as you want. So you might say, I define the word substantial to mean at least 1%, and so we would reduce only rice subsidies by 1%, right? Now, in the game of the debate, the focus is supposed to then be on that, right? And so I get the negative, go, any word subsidies would be narrow. That's what the resolution suggests. You would say, not suggested. I suggested rice. That's the game of debate, as that specific game is played. But there's another way that you could evaluate it if it wasn't a game, which is the resolution true or not? You're individual, or is what the resolution's pointing to true or not? Or what the prompt is pointing to true or not? You're individual. I think my prompt to the prompt, which is expansive, it can be fun, but you're intentionally narrowly tailoring to meet that prompt in the smallest way possible. Him talking about the actual thrust of what the prompt's getting to and why that would be a disaster for the country is still him being persuasive, particularly when he's showing that you're individually narrowly tailoring so that you can get away from arguing the heart of the prompt, which is the practical application that people are suggesting, including yourself, of actually packing the court. So again, it's not this you going into this ad absurdum like, we'll just take you to this ridiculous point where he's just arguing. That's not what was occurring. He was making arguments specifically to impugn your narrow table to show that the prompt itself and what it was speaking to was something that you could reject.
No, but then that's on the premise too, and we haven't finished our premise. And eventually, I do want to get to premise too, 100%. But like, I think you have to accept that by your lights, and if Ryan just showed up with the goal of showing me to be this monster, and the best way to achieve that were to just fart as loudly as possible, you wouldn't say you did that in the debate, correct?
Well, I said I've already outlined. We're retreading our wheels. I'll say it again and state my position. No, that wouldn't be some goal. Yeah, no, I would not say you did correct this morning because that's not a goal that's laudable.
No. He farts and then he says, and that's why Pico is a hack, or all the things that you said there, and this is how I'm exposing him is by, and he just does that. And let's just say that it goes through, the fact that it's true, that people are convinced by that. You would say he didn't do bad in the debate, even though all he did was fart and then just say, and that's why I'm right.
I would say that it's a threshold, and seeing as how you've agree that it's subjective to each person what they think is good is bad. I would say I have a threshold when I think arguments are germane. Let me finish. When I think the arguments are germane, no, I would not be persuaded by someone saying, I farted, that's why you think good or bad. Again, you take this to absurd. I've given a direct analogous example, which you're either being disingenuous or you're grotesquely misinformed about. If they had a hearing today on foreign affairs, and that was the topic, the Iran war, and in that, Democrats exclusively spent their time outing a corrupt measure of Marco Rubio, not connected to foreign affairs, you would say they did well in the hearing. Almost every Democrat would say they did good in the hearing. I know that, you know that, the moderator knows that, everyone watching knows that. It is directly analogous to what we would say,
right, and
you
if Ryan
did good in the
convinced
debate.
if Ryan convinced people with farting, would you say he did good with respect to the goal?
I subjectively do not think, and I think almost no one would subjectively would think that farting would. You have conceded that each individual subjectively determined whether or not someone did good in the debate. I am outlining to you an analogous situation, not a fart, which shows if someone proves a point that the position that the other people have are something to be rejected, and it's not just the narrowly tailored prompt, but it speaks to the greater value of what's going on in the prompt and what we want to see happen politically, that your premise one is not totally entailing what it could mean to do bad in a debate. Yes or no? Yes. Can I just get an answer to this? Are you truly telling me that you don't think the majority of people, if today in the Foreign Affairs Committee outed Marco Rubio and Donald Trump as being corrupt with some financial deal, do you think in your heart of hearts that the majority of Democrats, media, politicians, Democrat
they'd say
voters,
it's good.
They'd say they did good in the hearing?
Yeah, I think they'd say they did good.
Then I'm correct. Thank you.
No, but like,
That's all I have to say.
one, they could be wrong, right? And two, there could be multiple different. Well, surely you think they could be wrong, right?
They could, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to each person's subjective interpretation.
Yeah, I'm asking your view,
Good or
right?
bad?
And, like, I don't know if you're. Wait, but.
I mean, this isn't like, I'm not even trying to be like, slippery, like with weird definitions of words and saying anything can mean anything. I'm saying quite literally, debate is the type of thing, or your performance in a hearing is the type of thing. It's like watching a dance routine or listening to a song. All sorts of people can come to different reasons if they think that we're good or bad all the time. It's inherently subjective. And if you're acknowledging that the vast majority of people would have said in that example, he did good in the hearing, then your premise is rejected by the vast majority of people, as it should be.
Well, no, because the first premise is about debating, right? There could be a different standard for hearings.
No, explain the difference. If there's a topic of the hearing that you're supposed to talk about, it's okay to go outside the topic of the hearing, but not okay to go outside the position of the debate?
Yeah, I just understand the debate to be... Okay, so then why did you not see a difference... Or sorry, why did you see a difference between chess and debate, right? You were willing to bite the bullet that in chess,
Chess has a win condition, it's a game. Like we went through that. I mean, that's clear.
So there's a category of things that which the rules are subjectively agreed upon, but once they're agreed upon, there's an objective matter of fact as to whether they were met or not met. So chess, the rules are subjectively agreed upon. There's nothing telling me why I can't move one piece in another direction. But once they're all agreed that these are what limited, there's the fact of the matter of whether chess was followed or not, the rules of chess. Sure. Similar with debate, similar with the hearing. Whatever is going to be, we're going to have some sort of subjective agreement on what constitutes the norms of debate. We're going to have some subjective agreement on what, hopefully agreement, or maybe disagreement, on what constitutes the norms of the hearing. Maybe it's to actually follow the topic of the hearing, or maybe it's not. Maybe the real purpose of the hearing is to just try to own, Marco Rubio here.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, if there is an agreement on the norms of something, then there is an objective factor now whether they were followed or not. And in terms of what those norms are, there might be areas that we want and we don't want. So I think.
Well, I don't think there's an agreement.
Well, on some things I think there might be.
Well, of course, there's an agreement
that like the farting example, right? The farting example, it sounded like there's something there that you didn't really want to say yes. That even in a hypothetical where if farting really, you knew beforehand, farting really would convince a whole bunch of people that you're right. It seemed like there was something. It wasn't just merely convincing people. First, it's like, okay, well, maybe it's convincing people. But then it's like, okay, well, maybe it's convincing people in the right sort of way. Maybe there are certain wrong sorts of ways to convince people that I wouldn't say is doing good debate, because it seemed like you didn't want to say that farting, if you knew that would convince people, would be doing good in a debate. Am I?
Yes, and again, I think I tried to address this point, which is it is going to be, one, it's subjective to each person what they think, and second, each person's going to have a threshold, right? So, for example, maybe someone would say it would be if, and we've all agreed, I didn't see if you agreed, Avi, but I'll ask you, right? Would you agree in the situation I outlined in the Foreign Affairs Committee, if that occurred, that the majority of Democrats, elected officials, etc., would say they did good in the hearing? Yeah. We all agree to that, right?
So I agree with the reason I think that that they would is because I think at this point our politics are so partisan that people don't even see the point of the hearing as what was initially stated as the point of the hearing. They see the point of the hearing as how can I get this person.
It's theater.
But it does. But again, well, then it's subjective as to how they see the point of the hearing.
Now, if that's the agreed upon norms of the hearing, they really did do well in the hearing. But there's not, because Marco Rubio is continually saying, what the hell are we talking about? We're here to talk about foreign affairs. So he didn't agree, the other party didn't agree, and yet the audience has accepted it. Then I would say, yeah, then maybe there may just be no fact of the matter. Sorry, there may be just no agreed rules, agreed norms as to what constitutes following or not following. The question is,
like you go to play chess and then
the question.
Well, there is
like you go to play. So I think the example, if you go to chess now, imagine that you showed up to play chess, and one side thinks that moving the knight diagonally, that's how you move the knight, right? And the other side shows up. Right, but like,
but that's not debate. That's not a hearing. That's not the way it's done.
Oh, okay, so then maybe the difference here, and maybe we're not going to make any progress, is just on what the norms of the debate either
I'll just repeat this. Like, Avi, what you say there, what we're getting to is a problem of subjectivity and thresholds. Each of us will make our own determination. For example, let's say that what the Democrats did, let's say I'm Democrat voter, and I say, yes, in this example, I'm happy with what they did to Rubio because the agenda of exposing corruption being done in political ways by this administration is laudable, and that's exactly the side of oversight we want. Even if this Foreign Affairs Committee doesn't have oversight over financial disclosures, etc., that's still laudable and achieves the goal that sort of relatively serves the purpose of the general theme of what they're doing. I don't think, though, if they went on and said, Marco Rubio, isn't it true that you cheated on your first girlfriend and you're a shitty person? I, Mr. Democrat voter, might say, look, I think that it's perfectly reasonable to say Marco Rubio is a shitty person, but this is outside the scope of what I would accept as being effective in this performance or doing a good job. What I'm arguing is what Ryan did is almost directly analogous to what I'm saying that the Democrats would have done in that hearing. And we all accept, had the Democrats done that hearing, we would say they did well in the debate. That's what everyone would have said. So we can keep going. What you're effectively doing, Avi, is saying, but isn't there a point where that threshold becomes so outside the scope of the original intent of the debate that we just on face say, I don't know that farting cuts it for me? Yes, and it's hard to know exactly where that threshold. Similarly, if you said, should you be allowed to drive 55 miles an hour? And I say, yeah, and you say, how about 56? How about 57? Once you get to like 83, I might say no, and you say to me, well, what's the difference between 82 and 83? I might have a difficult time of articulating that, but I understand driving 83 is not acceptable and driving 65 is.
So what I'm doing, I'm not doing authorities here where it's of the same kind of different scale. What I was getting at is there seems to be a qualitative sort of thing that is different in debate. So I think there's a reason why that's not just like a threshold thing, why you think farting, if it were to convince people, would not be good at debating, but rather if you were to make a good advance a sound argument, and that were to convince people that way, you probably would say, okay, well, that is a good way of debating. And I think it might have something to do with some sort of qualitative difference there, rather than, how many farts did you do, or how much minutes do you spend farting versus how many minutes do you spend making sound arguments.
Well, yes and no.
The difference is just, well,
yes and no. I agree. There does seem to be a qualitative aspect to it. That I agree. But I think there's a threshold of when we accept that qualitative aspect is acceptable or not. That's what I'm saying about the threshold. And so all of us would agree that just farting in the debate would be something that for us subjectively and for the vast majority of people would not cut the mustard. So
even if it did convince people, it would not cut the mustard.
Correct.
Even if it was effective at convincing people.
Okay. Correct. That's what we would all say, right? Okay. Would you say that, Bisco? Even if it convinced people, you'd say, I don't think he did good?
Yeah, well, yeah, because what it means for me to do good in debate No, because what I take to be good in the debate is providing either a sound argument for your position or undermining like your opponent's position.
That's a subjective premise, which I'm saying that people will agree. They don't think that premise is really entailing what it means to do good or bad in a debate. You've acknowledged it. You said yes. It would have been a rejection of your premise in that hearing for Democrats to do that, and yet, still the majority of the people, including yourself, would say they did good in the hearing. So you acknowledge that your premise fails.
I just think that hearings are different than debates.
Give me the qualitative reason why.
Oh, just in terms of the nature of the relative norms, that in the hearings everyone understands, that to do well in a hearing is just to like bring up a fucking piece of construction paper with like an image and then just start virtue signaling.
No. Now you're talking. That's a completely different area of what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is both of them have freedom. There is an advertised. This is the topic of discussion that we'll be focused on. A debate says, and in this topic, one side will be here and the other person here.
One will be arguing,
says,
the other will be arguing. They don't say farting, Rob.
Let me finish.
No one expects farting.
Let me finish. In a hearing, they say, here is the topic. It's just not that there's an affirmative and negative. But it's the exact same premise. You can't give a qualitative difference why it would be different that it's okay to not address the topic in one and is in the other.
I think I just did, and I think that Avi did before as well. Yeah. So the nature of
Avi, explain it. If he did it, can you explain it?
In terms of why there's a qualitative
the difference.
Why you don't have why you can be good in a hearing without following the topic, but not good in a debate without following the topic.
Yeah. So what I would imagine.
His argument, not yours.
Yeah. No.
What is it?
My understanding is that the norms for today are not the same as the norms for hearing. Where the norms for hearing that people are not limited to discussing the topic. That's why, in fact, I did watch that. And I
sort of see what I'm saying.
I heard all sorts of things outside of the topic.
Correct.
Might be consistent with, the norms being seen as discussing outside of the topic. But maybe the norms in the debate are more stay within the topic.
I don't think that's true. No,
maybe it's not. I'm just telling you what my understanding of.
I don't. Fair enough. I don't think
the norms are different.
I don't think he's just said they're different. He hasn't articulated why. And I'll say in this situation, it's actually the inverse. Because what we're doing here is very, even now, you think this is a more informal appearance than what we have at these hearings, where people have to gather in and they have to swear in. There's a specific time. There is far more rule-based order and normative order in those hearings than what we do here. So anywhere you would be expected as the norm to follow more of the agreed-upon topic, it would be in these hearings. But I could even go one step further and say, fine, then let's do apples to apples. Let's do a presidential debate. Trump's debating Kamala Harris, right?
Yeah, so
and the moderator says, all right, we have a question about the economy, and Kamala Harris says, wait a minute, I want to get to Donald Trump's son and his corruption. Did you know he took all this money from Trump? Nothing to do with the question, but the audience goes, oh my goodness, epic point. Did she do good in the debate?
Yeah. So I think that I think in the context of presidential debates specifically, that those are more like hearings. Those are more like congressional hearings. The norms of presidential debates. Well,
wait, but Pisco, hold on.
What's the last?
Pisco, would you say that with respect to debating, would you say that move of hey, let me talk about your son?
Yeah. No, so I would say that that's bad debating. But it's good at the other purpose, right? And the reason I say that is, you're doing good at convincing the country that, and you, by the way, Rob, you've acknowledged this before, where candidates will just not answer questions, but then they'll just say some random shit that makes the other side look bad. They're not doing a good job at debating, but they're doing a good job at the other goal. The other goal is to convince the country.
First off, not the prompt and not the premise. It's not are they doing a good job at debating, it is are they doing a good or bad job in the debate. If that happened, let me finish. If that happened, right, and this point was made by Kamala Harris and it ends up that 90% of the people thought that was the most important point, and even though she didn't address the topic, do you think those people would say she did good in the debate?
Yeah, they might say that she did good in the debate, but we're just talking about whether she did.
So you
on your
concede?
view. Wait, no, we're talking about debating well. No, we're talking about debating well. Wait, stop.
That's not what your prompt was. It doesn't say did well debating. It said did good
Bad
in the
job.
debate or did bad in the debate.
Yeah. So we're talking about debating poorly, right? So you would say
that's not what we're talking about.
Yes,
That's not what we're
yes,
talking
it is.
about. I the exact wording of the. Don't you agree you should have to state the exact wording of the topic?
100%, yeah.
Okay, what was the exact wording of the topic?
Yeah,
Did they do well in debating? It was did he do good or bad, or did he do
bad job
in the debate? In the debate.
So a bad job in the debate. A bad job in the debate I take to be, I'm telling you what I understand that to be, is bad at debating. That's what I'm understanding what it means.
No. Then you would have to agree that if people in that situation that you just acknowledged that you and Democrats would say Kamala did good in the debate, even though she didn't address the topic, why would it be that in that situation you don't mean good at debating? Why is it different when you say the exact same phrase to Kamala Harris versus Ryan Malone?
Yeah. So if pressed, I would be like, okay, yeah, she did a bad job at debating, but she did a good job in the debate with the purpose, the grander purpose. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's just that. Wait. Can I respond fully or not? Right. Okay. So if I said the same phrasing, it was a mistake. All I'm trying to say is that we're talking about the bad debating. I don't exactly remember exactly what phrase I'm doing. But if pressed, I'd be like, Kamala Harris did a really good job. She seemed more dominant. She made something look bad. But someone's like, but she didn't really answer any of the questions. I'd be like, okay, I'll concede. She did a bad job debating. She did a good job in some other things.
I don't buy the correction of oops, I slipped up when I said that. And even if I accept it, which I don't, I think you're just post-hoc changing because you realize you've conceded.
No.
But even if I accept it, right? So just to be clear, so the audience can see what just happened here. He's going to
I don't remember the phrasing.
Let me finish, please, and let you go. He's going to acknowledge that in that situation, that if there was a debate, presidential debate, and Kamala Harris went off topic and made a point that all of the Democrats thought was persuasive, even if she was never on point or on topic in that debate, people would say she did good in the debate. He said that as well. Then, when I say, okay, that's directly analogous to did Ryan do good or bad in the debate, even if it wasn't.
So I have response.
Now, let me finish. Pisco then says, I misspoke.
No, wait.
When I say good in the debate, I don't mean good in the debate that his parents said. I mean good debating, which is sort of laughable. Try to articulate.
Can we pause? Can we do one at a time?
No.
Can we do one at a time?
Finish my point. I generously let you finish. So the point is, he has acknowledged that him and everyone else would say, even if it was off the topic, he made a point that one heard the debate and thought that more people where she could go, that she did good in the debate. All of this is try to rewrite, try to equivocate and change language to misdirection from the fact that he's conceded that premise is not actually.
So I think that to be dishonest. I didn't concede at all. Bobby, did you hear a concession?
It's an effect.
No, so it's not. Let me explain exactly why. The first thing I said was that the norms of, I don't even accept that the norms of presidential debate are the same as debates where there's a singular proposition, as opposed to just like basically extended Q&As between different people. And so I view them as fundamentally different. That's the first thing I said. So even if I were to grant that the phrasing made, the wording that I use in the context of the debate, that in the debate, presidential debates, I just think it's a different category than a debate in which there's one proposition that you're arguing, as opposed to like an extended Q&A where you're basically just doing either interviewing and you're just like, tossing things at each other. So anything I said about presidential debates, I made it very clear that I don't apply to the kinds of debates where there won't singular proposition. So no concession whatsoever. And number two, even if I did use that phrasing there, I said if I did, I don't remember exactly what phrasing I used there. I think I made clear that I would see good at debate as different than good performance. I just view them as different kinds of goals, and it's perfectly consistent with how I would approach, the more structured debate where there's one premise.
Running from magic.
So I don't think there's a concession at all.
All right. So this is his exact language was apples to apples. It did good in the debate. Now, to deal with the equivocations here, several things. One, he backtracks and says that they're somehow different. Now he wouldn't say she did good in the debate. He would say she did good at a goal, but not good in the debate. I don't believe that, but that's just my subjective interpretation. I'll leave you take that for granted. Even still, he acknowledges that the vast majority of other people would say she did good in the debate, which again would defeat his premise because that shows that this premise isn't all entailing of what it would mean to do good or bad in the debate. Next, he says that hearings, you don't have to follow the topic. Debates online, you do. Now he says presidential debates, you don't have to follow the topics to do good, but it's just something specific. So just to be clear, here's Pisco's position of what's been outlined so far in regards to this premise. One, a hearing, you could do good in the hearing, even if you don't follow the topic.
Different norms, different norms.
Second,
different
you
norms.
could do good in a presidential debate, even if you don't follow the topic. Third, the only person that's talked about an actual debate outside the scope of what we do that's somehow unique, that talked about actual competitive debate where you have actual rules and judges was me. And what did I tell you? Many debates end in complete irrelevancy to what the original topic was. The entirety of the debate. In 2007, CETA Nationals, Fort Hayes versus Towson University, the entire debate, which was supposed to be a topic, I believe, on tariffs, the entire debate ended up cruxing on the fact that Fort Hayes got to strike the judge and they struck a black woman. The agreed about topic was tariffs, and what do you think Towson, a radical black activist team, did? They stood up and said the performative nature of their opponent striking the only black woman for the panel showed the sort of racism and hatred. Let me finish. Guess who won? Guess who professional debate judges said won? Towson, who did not debate the topic. And this happened dozens of times at every tournament I was in, the teams would win without debating the specific prompt or topic. The judges gave their cosign, professional judges. Yes, you did well. So I comparative. In the hearing, Pisco acknowledges you can do good without talking about the topic.
Why are you just filibustering and yapping?
I'm finishing my point. In the presidential debates, he says those aren't like debates, but you can do good without debating the topic. In collegiate debate, which is debate, you can do good without debating the topic. What's your argument? Give me an example.
This is what you're doing.
Why is what we do so different?
So I'm not saying that what we do with respect to only in the modern day debate context do these norms apply. I just think that presidential debates are different in kind to the kinds of debates that you will see when there's a singular topic being argued about. And the reason for that is that in the presidential debate, it's basically just a bunch of Q&As and back and forth. It's like a whole different thing than when there's a singular topic that we're all supposed to argue.
College policy debate.
Wait. So with respect to what you're talking about in specific instances of college debate, presumably you think that that's very cringe when they you give wins to people who say irrelevant stuff, and when they say when they just do slam poetry, right? You think that that's wrong?
Well, one, I didn't talk about.
Do you think that's wrong? Do you think it's wrong? Yes or no?
Let me explain, right, and I'll answer.
Can you answer the question, please?
Yes, you just pointed to them and said like slam poetry. Those two things aren't alike. So I want to. Wait, if you're asking me two separate questions, do I think what they did in the example you talked about was cringe, and do I think slam poetry is cringe? Are you asking me two separate questions, or are you likening those things to equivalent?
So I'm giving a couple of examples of kinds of things that you would do that are like artistic.
Would you like my answer to each example then?
So we'll do one at a time then, right?
Sure.
So if you were to just do irrelevant slam poetry and the debating board or whatever the judges were gave them the win, you would say that that's stupid, right?
Yes.
Okay. And if
that's not the example I gave. Wasn't the same. However, I politely answered. Can I expound? That seems to be fair, right?
Yeah.
All right. It would be irrelevant. Because do you think that me protesting that would mean that they would reverse the decision? No. It is clear that in that case, seeing as how we're suggesting that good or bad is subjective to the individual, that the qualified person, that there was a norm to agree to determine who did good or bad in the debate, accepted that as doing good. I'm pissed off about it, but guess what was normative in the debate community? That shit won all the time. And so again, they would have to say either... You would have to argue what? That they're biased, they're corrupt, they're in...
Wait, no, but do you uphold those norms? I mean, these questions are in this to...
Do I uphold
whether you
the
think
norms?
those norms are true and yeah. So you would say if someone's just doing irrelevant rambles, there's no way that you would say that they want to debate.
That might be
right?
true, but again, two things are...
Sorry, wait, let me correct. I did do wrong language there. That they did well in a debate, right? They did bad on if they're doing irrelevant rambles, they're doing bad on your view, right?
In my view, but that's not a full case, and let me explain why. I would say they did good or bad based on if they got the victory. So I was a debate coach as well, right? And what we would do is look at the judge philosophy of the person we're debating. If the judge philosophy said, for example, as some did, I don't want to hear about the topic, I want to hear about organic intellectuals and your interactions with professionals in the minority community. You know what I would coach my team to do? Not argue the prompt, and instead look at the person who would be adjudicating the debate and argue in the style that they wanted. So in that, you might say, Rob, that's irrelevant to the agreed upon topic that the committee outlined at the beginning of the year. And I would say, yes, but I had more advanced knowledge of what this specific judge wanted to hear.
So why don't you
So
bring
in
the
that case,
farming
let me
example?
finish, Les. So in that, let me finish, right? So in that condition, I would say you did well in the debate to adjust.
So bite the bullet on farting. Wait, so bite the bullet on farting. Let's say.
Yes, if the judge philosophy said, in this debate, I will vote for the team that farts the best, I would say that whoever farted did good in that debate because they met the condition in order to win that debate. Yes, it is an absurd sort of beyond the pale equivocation, but nonetheless, tell me where I'm wrong.
And if the modern day debate, and if the goal about convincing people, like you said, which is relevant to consider someone's performance, a laudable goal that has some amount of connection to the prompt, if that is best accomplished by farting in this context, you would say that wasn't doing bad in the debate. Fair?
No. What I'm saying is there's a difference between collegiate debate is there is a predefined win condition. Just like in chess. And so if you make the goal for that predefined win condition, college debate's a little different because it is a game with predefined rules where the rules are debatable because you have a human that is judging. Some humans don't think those rules matter. Let me give you just an example to illustrate this point that maybe seems like not as controversial. There are eligibility requirements to debate in college, right? Sure, just like play football or whatever, right? There's eligibility. You have to attend the university, be in good standing, etc., etc. I debated a team that brought 2 illegal immigrants that weren't members of the college. The judge was okay with it. The rule was debatable. I could protest and say that's against the rules. Didn't matter. Judge was fine with it. So many people in the community weren't.
But on your view, if all Ryan did in that debate was like insult me and like attack my character, say that I'm a liar, and he was able to convince like decent amounts of people for the laudable goal of stopping tyranny or whatever you're saying, he would do, and even if he never touched the topics, you would think he did well on your view.
It depends. We're going to have a disagreement on what that looks like. Instead of talking about, we've already agreed that it's subjective and there's a threshold as to where we think that it could go beyond.
No, on your view,
but I'm explaining to you then. And so if you're saying if he got up and just farted and everyone voted for him, would I say he did good? No. If you're saying, because what you're trying to get is, if he just got up and insulted me, would you say he's good? No. If that's all he did, I wouldn't say he did good. That's not all he did.
No, I know that's not all he did. I'm saying if
we're still on premise one of the least important part of this debate, which you've in effect shown that's wrong over and over again. We're in the position now where you're arguing that debates aren't like college debate or aren't like presidential debates or aren't like hearings and all those things you could do good without talking about the specific topic. I think I've sufficiently demolished premise one. I'm happy with it.
No. So by the way, I think it's everything that you said is absolutely insane regarding debate norms. In my view, on the vision that like you could, that if we set up this, we spent all this time doing the modern day debate prompt, setting that prompt up, and that you could go into that debate on your own view in the context of modern day debate, not even take a single moment to address the prompt and to do things that are total derails, totally irrelevant, and there's still a chance that you would say the person who did that didn't do bad. I think that's a reductio. I think that's absurd, and I'm happy to move on to the next premise.
Already argued this. You tried to reframe it at the end. I already said that in order for that condition to be met, there would have to be some sort of tangential connection to the actual prompt. I think that what he was doing spoke to the greater purpose of the prompt and actually creating real-world change, and just focusing on your disingenuous, narrowly tailoring instead of telling us your honest opinion of what you wanted to debate. In him pointing that out shows the extremism, which gets to the thrust of that topic. I've argued sufficiently over and over why the individual premise, what you keep doing is, I've showed how your premise is in fact not totally encapsulating, and so you keep going reductive to, but what about this situation? Would you like to get to premise 2? And we'll see if really he met those conditions anyways?
Yeah, 100%. I think that what you said is absurd. I'm happy to get on premise 2. Avi, do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I guess the debates are important to me, and I've been debates for these debates for many years. I guess one thing I'll say about debates, and we can go on. We can all agree that once a given set of subjective rules or norms are agreed upon, there's an objective matter of fact whether they're followed or not. But I think that we all have a notion of things that we don't want other people to have the norm or to spread a norm about debate. Like, I think we could all agree that we don't want people to have norms about debates, at least within this group, that, you know, slam poetry is some sort of like proper or victorious style of debate, that or some sort of good way of debating. If it's completely tangential or to the debate proposition, it's probably justification. I think we can all agree, you know, farting is another example of that. There are certain things, and so the question I guess the thing I would want people to think about is what is it about? What are the things we want people to have as part of the debate norms to consider doing well in debate, to consider debating well? And if it's not any of those things, if it's not, even if it convinces people, if it's not if it's not poetry, if it's not farting, if it's not things that are like, you know, vaguely related, then what would it be? And, you know, hopefully, what I would like to see is people have some sort of answer to this, and hopefully in some sort of linear way in which people argue for their position and justify it. That's at least. I don't think anything you said is mutually exclusive to what I'm arguing here.
I think there is an individual preference and there's sort of a threshold. For example, right, like let's say throughout the course of this debate, right, it comes up that I make some argument about integrity. And Pisco says, Rob, remember that time I came to Word War and you told me you'd pick up dinner? And so I went and ordered something and then you laughed at me and left? And like, and then I was left holding the bag, right? And I didn't have the money and I had to wash dishes, right? And then I'm like, fuck you, the reason for that was blah, blah, blah. And we get in this tangential argument. Sometimes organically, the way debates go, it is more interesting and more productive because there is going to a more important point. The question is, when do we accept it? I'm fully in agreement that if Brian just stood up and said, Pisco, I want to talk about your previous working relationship with Destiny, and I think that makes you a piece of shit. That's absurd. Even if I would agree with that, which I don't, but that would be an absurd. But he was arguing, there was a question where it's like, when it is a piece within the realm of the topic, and in this case, I think it was the topic anyways. The mere point I'm making with premise one is, obviously, you think it's a feasible interpretation that premise one is not all encapsulating, because I've sufficiently demonstrated in many forms of debates and hearings that colloquially, like, people will say people did good in a debate or in a hearing, even if they didn't exclusively talk about the topic. Do you acknowledge that?
Well, the proposition itself, as it reads, is exclusive to justification for your position and or undermining justification of the opponent's position. I think what you're trying to say is that you just reject that premise because you have some other thing in mind that is not inclusive of those things.
Correct. That would prove, if that was true, that would prove the premise to be inaccurate, correct?
If that was true, then premise one would be false. I think the question, I just want to see if I get a clear answer on the reductio question that was asked, because he asked the reductio question, and it sounds like you want to say no to that. You want to say no because it doesn't meet some threshold of relevance. Like it's not merely. So you want to say it's not merely convincing other people. Not all forms of convincing other people.
Correct.
Are
legitimate. Correct.
There's an additional restriction on that. And I think it's hard to pick up premise one again. I think the pathway to test that is to hone in on that, on internet and say like, okay, well, if something is at a certain level of vague relevance, but somewhat relevance, and that convinces people, is that really the thing we want to say is...
But you would have to acknowledge, Navi, I don't know about you, but given Pisco said, and then he later had to backtrack, but at least what he admitted of others, the vast majority of people would say that certainly there is a point outside the scope of premise one where people would say people did good in a debate. We may disagree on the length of that, but all I have to do is prove that there's any example.
Yeah, but I would just say they're wrong. Yeah, I mean,
but
like,
Avi, you clearly showed that
they're wrong.
I clearly demonstrated that that's the case, as is acknowledged by the fact that that's what the overall majority of people, including yourself, would say.
Oh, I don't
yes,
agree with that.
Kamala did good in the debate. Yes, the team that won the championship that wasn't arguing the topic did good in the debate.
So people saying, I agree with that. I agree people would say it.
Yeah.
The question is, would Pisco be one of those people?
That's irrelevant to whether or not the premise is true. The premise isn't just true for Pisco, Pisco, the premise is something that we're asking, is it a truth for all of us?
Oh, so you're saying it's like, are you saying it's like a majority, it's like an empirical thing, like the majority of people? Like,
Correct.
That is
not just that.
That is not what the proposition means.
Whoa. Well, if that's the case, then I'll just counter his premise with this. And my premise will say, if Brian failed to justify his position in the debate, he failed to undermine his opponent's justification, but made a broader point that was more, I think he did a good job. And all I have to say is, to me, that's true, Avi. It doesn't matter if you agree or anyone else in the room. You see the problem? When we're discussing premise, we're not...
Wait, Ryan.
Let me finish. I promise. I'll give you a large judgment. That can't be the case, Avi, that we're only arguing whether or not the premise is true. He's no. That's absurd.
No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm, just to be clear, I'm evaluating whether it's between you two right now. If the premise is not, if the truth of the premise is not hinging on like other people, or not, and it's not an empirical premise about what other people would say, the premise's truth is going to be judged between if both parties to the debate, you and Pisco, agree on the norm.
We disagree
on the norm. Okay, and if you disagree, then it's going to turn into a debate. And you can argue on that premise. That's fine. That's why I'm saying I was asking about if Pisco was one of those people. So in terms of, unless you're talking about something that's going to be an empirical premise, where it's going to determine where the truth of that is actually just linked to other people, then I'll agree. Then it's okay. Well, that is trivially different.
If the terms good or bad are subjective, right, and the vast majority of people would agree with me that you could be good or bad outside the perspective of that, including you, Avi, which said, yes, you would say people did good in that debate like Kamala Harris, then why wouldn't that be a rejection of the premise?
Hang on. You don't agree that just because 51% of the voting people thought that someone did good in the debate, they did good in the debate. You don't agree with that, right? We both agree that we're not just appealing to a majority or to a percentage.
It's not just an appeal to a majority. We're talking about an overwhelming majority. Even yourselves said that, so it's not just that this is some 51...
Stop.
You did!
Wait, pause. No, you just made a false claim. I didn't ever say any percentage of people who agree with given propositions. So I now need you to
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
So you just said something like...
I said even you agreed that it was possible...
Stop. You agree... you agree to the overwhelming majority agree a certain thing. And when you just said you agree that it's possible to do good in a debate, you know what you're referencing there is the presidential debate. And you know my response to that, right?
Not just presidential debate, the hearing, the collegiate debate. You've equivocated with different... I guess I'll just ask... I guess...
The response is...
Wait,
Rob, what's my response? Rob.
Good?
No, what's my response to those, to you trying...
There is some
telling
difference.
You, right? And
there's some difference. Those forms of debate don't count
in the norms. Wait, no, there's a difference in the norms.
Who decided the norms? Who decided that?
No. When you say who decided, what are you asking?
Who decided? Who decides those norms in presidential debates and hearings? Who decided the norms?
What are you asking when you say it?
I'm asking you who gets to determine what the norms are.
Who gets to determine?
Like, yes. Who decides the norms?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I understand norms to be like preferences linked to people's subjective desires, and to the extent that there are norms, maybe there can be more empirical claims about a given discipline or the rules of chess or something that are written down someplace. But I think they're linked to either like hypothetical rule sets or standards that you can be in compliance with or not be in compliance with, which is either based in some sort of like hypothetical norm or standard or in some actual sets of preferences.
Okay, do you think the moderators in presidential debate set the norms, that the norm is they expect the person they're asking the question to answer the question? Is that a norm?
Yeah, no. So those...
Is that a norm?
Being relevant, no, it's not a norm.
That's not a norm.
So I don't think that being responsive to questions in the context of presidential debates are norms for presidential debates.
I disagree. I think that the moderator and the people watching expect that that's the normal case of things. You would expect it.
You don't agree with this, Rob. You don't agree with this.
Of course I do. That's the normal perspective.
You don't expect it.
That's your expectation.
Yeah, they say something like tangentially related to the question, right? So the question is about why did you vote for this or that, right? Like they will say something like on healthcare if they're asking something. Sometimes they'll even just start in like a stump speech kind of way. But what I'm just saying is that's different when it's just like a rapid fire set of questions. So you have like a minute to respond, and it's constantly changing topics.
I guess
that's different. And wait, stop. Would you agree? Wait, let me ask you a question. Would you agree that wait, stop. Would you agree that the norms of presidential debates are different than the norms of structured debates with one proposition?
Do you agree the norms of modern day debates different than the norm
Yes
of
or
this
no,
debate,
Rob?
which is yes, all debates have different norms. Every single one in every single debate. All things have different norms depending on the context. A debate you have with your friends at the bar versus a presidential debate versus a debate in modern day debate versus a debate on Wick's channel versus a debate on Dylan Burns' channel. All of those have slightly different norms. However, they are all debates, and in the context of whether or not someone did good in a debate, we would say within those, we would see that that's the case. What you're suggesting is there is something unique about specifically the type of debate you do that's different than every other hearing where you're allowed to not follow the topic, every other style of debate where you're not allowed to follow the topic. Just this style of debate, objectively, you have to argue exactly what you're saying when it comes to justifying your position in order to say you did good or bad. I disagree with that. I provided many examples. We're 2 hours into premise one. I think I've beaten this dead horse.
We're not 2 hours into.
We're an hour and 20 minutes.
We're not 2 hours in. So I suspect that we actually share a lot of these norms, and that when you say things like, it's possible for you to do well by being, even though you're irrelevant in what you're saying, that I don't think that that's something you actually uphold, and that if someone started doing that to you, if someone started doing that to you and being like, yeah, I did well, even though all I did was, very loosely connected to the proposition. If you would be like, you didn't even address the thing we were here to address. And by the way, this is a norm that Andrew Wilson upholds, right? You know that Andrew Wilson upholds this norm. Well, he tries to, at least he said he does.
Okay, when Andrew Wilson debated Destiny, and Destiny said, here's my definition of insurrection, and Andrew said, sure, whatever, I don't care, that's a terrible that means that all this bad shit happens. Did Andrew win that debate? Did he do well in that debate?
So I don't think Andrew Wilson did well in that debate.
Did he do? Okay, well that's. Do you think Andrew thinks he did good?
Wait. That's tangential, right? You agree that Andrew, you're like someone that you interact with, someone that you think is a good debater, he upholds these norms, right? Or at least he tries to.
No, I just gave an example why that's not the case.
Sorry, you think that if you were to ask?
Did Andrew uphold that norm when he was basically sure, whatever?
No, I think he fails. No, I agree that he fails at.
Okay, stop. Now stop.
He claims to.
Now stop. Do you think he thinks he did well in that debate?
I think that he thinks that he did well in the debate.
Okay,
I think he thinks he did well. But he upholds. He at least professes to uphold the norm of relevance, right? The norm of staying to the topic.
Again.
So do you agree with that? Wait, do you agree? Can you answer the question, Rob? Rob, can you answer the question? Wait, can you answer the question?
You said he at least you didn't ask the question. So
I just asked you a question. I said, do you agree that Andrew Wilson at least professes to claim to stick to the norm, the debate norm of relevance?
No, I think that the norm of relevance, the way you're defining it, he would disagree with the norm of relevance. Which is exactly what I do. He disagrees with the premise. Yes, he agrees that he's saying relevant things to the debate, but it doesn't have to be justifying his position or undermining the other person's position. These are the things that could go outside the scope of that would still mean that he did well in the debate.
You think that he would say that there are ways to do that, to not do that, even though you failed to do those two conditions?
Yes, I think that yes.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does. If he is, that's in my view, that is insanely bad debate norms. And I think that's fucking crazy.
It is evident by like the overwhelming examples I gave. That Pisco's saying that the style of debate that he does depends on modern debate is so unique that we can't compare it to anything else. That he acknowledges the vast majority, or he doesn't acknowledge, but the truth is the majority of people, even himself, in some cases, even Avi, would say that you can do good in that hearing or do good in that format of debate, even if you don't talk about the topic. He acknowledges that, and he's pissed because he understands the concept. So what he does is he tries to get into this minutia and keep going with absurd analogy, yes or no. This is what he's going to do in every time.
It's true on your view, though.
I'm ready to go to premise 2. We're beating the dead horse. We're ready to go to premise 2.
So this is my final statement on premise 1. You keep trying to carve out things like farting, things like slam poetry. That's so patently absurd. But if they're increasing the pickup rate, the audience in terms of convincing them on a topic that is of some laudable goal for you, I don't think that there's a good reason for you you to discount that. I guess what you said is like some proximity and relevance to the topic, but I just don't really have, and I do agree at some point if we ever go back to P1 that we should just further clarify what is this proximity that you're getting at, that it gets you to discount things like farting, things like slam poetry, things that are like patently absurd.
Yes, I'm well aware. I'm well aware of the threshold argument. Why is it okay to drive 67 mile an hour but not 66?
No,
I made the point.
I don't think it's a threshold argument. I think it's qualitative.
I was asking when you interrupted, like, you know, I didn't expect Avi to get involved as much, but I don't mind that at all. And so I just.
Oh, just to be clear, I'm not a modern day debater.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm fine.
And I guess to give a little bit of, I think the strongest case actually that Rob could probably make is that, well, the debate norms are modern day debate are essentially no norms.
Correct.
You know, modern day debate. If you look at the mods of modern day debate, it's complete trash. In terms of
hang on. So the guy was sitting down and not saying anything when Ryan was saying like, I don't give a fuck about the prompt. I don't care about the prompt. I think a minimally relevant like debate norm is caring about the fucking prompt and not fucking tossing out the corner. And the mod was doing nothing.
I don't think you're being totally. I think the mod Rob probably should have done
your argument, by the way.
Let me.
Don't fight it. Why are you fighting it?
No. Because I'm honest. I'm not here to hide what I believe like some other people Bisco. I'm actually debating what I really believe. So what I think happened is it was a little better than that, though I think that there could have been more intervention. Didn't he specifically say, are you conceding? Wait, are you conceding? Didn't he do that? So he didn't just do nothing.
Only when I said, only when I said, I think I'll take this as a concession. I prompted that, and then he's like, I think we should talk about whether it's a concession in the debate. But I will note there that the fact that he took it that way, that derailing and not talking about the topic, that even the modern day debate people, which I do agree with Avi now that I see where he's going. I think maybe the best argument for you is that with respect to modern day debate, they just let anything fly. But even them, they recognize that just like not addressing the prompt.
I've said like I think maybe you guys want to be on modern day debate. Oh no, it's a deal about that anyway. Like I think Mike was your like, but I like my choose. I think there's right a little bit everything. Plus, I need to get on. I was an hour and 10 minutes. By the way, this is not
I do want to pick up Trevor's one, but I was just getting narrowing down what that debate thing is.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna be looking next time you say that in a debate, Rob. I'm gonna be looking at your reasoning really closely, and I'm gonna make sure that you're not saying things like. But anyway, let's look to the people.
No, that's fine. Check based on thresholds of what I think is of course. Again, my point is merely advocating. I'm not even advocating at this point whether or not Ryan did good or bad. I'm advocating that your premise isn't all encapsulated. And if there's something outside the premise, it proves that your premise is not true. That's the only thing that determines whether or not someone did good or bad. That's it. That's all. That's all we've talked about so far. And I think that I've sufficiently proved that in using analogies as best as possible that the majority of people would agree with that, including people in this conversation right now that acknowledge yes, I would say they did good in that hearing. I would say they
hearing different.
But you say it's different without any merit as to why that difference happened. No two things are ever the same.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, these two. Ryan, in fact, did fail to justify his position, failed to undermine my position. I think that that's true. So Ryan, first of all, never provided an argument for his position. Ryan also. Okay, what was his argument?
He made all sorts of arguments in his opening statement elsewhere that this would be devastating, that it would destroy norms, that it would have norms like judiciary forever, and it would lead to a cascading forward. All those are arguments to the negative, correct? You acknowledge it, right?
So
did he make these arguments?
So I don't think he provided a valid inference. It's one that we would have to.
Well, that's your opinion. I don't think you provided a valid inference for the difference between the presidential debate, the hearing, and the modern day debate. My opinion is you didn't provide a valid inference. But you would say you didn't make an argument.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can give it to you, and I'll take it that it's implicit, that like that you can like, sort of like assume, and it doesn't need to be in like a logically valid form. But he seemed to just be saying, with respect to the court package, that there's a broader agenda here. That there's like other sort of factors at play that might lead to Democrats, completely blocking Republicans ever from holding power, and like a set of policy arguments that aren't entailed by the policy proposal that was proposed. And I don't think that he made an argument that if you were to do X, that the other would necessarily follow. And so I don't really think that he was able to provide support, and especially during the debate when he didn't really elaborate that much on it.
Okay, now we went to he didn't do it, now to he didn't elaborate much. So you can already see sort of a bit of a backtrack. Let me ask you some questions without going off on too far of a tangent here, right? Like, I know you're going to want to talk for like 3 minutes in a chat like I do. Right? We're both bad with this, so I'm going to ask you to try to limit it a bit here, right? When it comes to this style of debate, modern day debate, would you acknowledge there's a looseness to it more than like a predefined, like, scholastic debate or something like that has more predefined rules, time frames for talking?
I don't know what a scholastic debate.
Well, like a collegiate debate.
I'm not
There's actual times and things like that. We don't have that. It's usually just like, here's a topic, 5 minutes opening statement, we'll go an hour, 5 minutes close. It's pretty loose, right?
I would say the modern day debate standard is probably looser than a lot of the collegiate standards, but that's just going off of what you're telling me because you have experience there.
Okay, so, all right, given that now, let's put that in our back pocket for a second. Do you think that the prompt, and the specific prompt was the same as the second prompt we'll be doing tonight, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
just make sure, because I don't have that video in front of me. But the prompt is, quote, Democrats are justified in expanding the Supreme Court. That was the prompt?
Yep, that's the prompt.
Would expanding by 4 people fall within that prompt?
No.
It wouldn't.
No.
Okay, Avi,
it's a subset.
So if I stood up and I said the prompt is Democrats,
it could be true.
Let me finish. Let me finish so you can respond. So I'm debating the prompt on Peaceville South, and I stand up and say, okay, the prompt is Democrats are justified in expanding the Supreme Court. I think that Democrats would be justified in expanding by 4 people. That's my... Pisco says that's not on topic.
I'll explain. So if you were to, in other words, if you can prove that it's not justified to do a 4-person expansion, the proposition could still be true.
That's not what you just said, though. You said it wouldn't be within the topic.
Well, so if
you
I
said
prove
no,
that
that's not within the topic.
Wait, hang on. So maybe I should clarify. So if you prove that a 4-person pack.
Within the topic, is it even a subset?
Yeah.
Is it an example of it?
It's an example of something.
Then it would fall within the topic.
Correct.
What I meant to say is that disproving that it's justified or showing that it's not unjustified to do a 4-person expansion doesn't disprove or the overall proposition. Because you can achieve.
So you could say.
Yeah.
You could say
the reverse would be the reverse would be the case. If you show that it's justified to do 4, then the proposition is true.
Right. So the point is, this is in the scope of what's being done, of what the topic is. Right. So you could say there could be infinite plans that you yourself would have raised that would fall within that topic. All you need to meet the
Technically
threshold
infinite.
is expanding. Right. Technically infinite. Right. And so all I'm trying to get to, and it's. Look, I'm willing to accept this might be just a misunderstanding, that's fine. But this is sometimes what makes debating you a bit frustrating. Something that should be a simple concession. Like, of course, that's within the topic. We have to go on a 5-minute tangent.
Rob, I clarified. Hang on a second. Rob, I clarified. So what I'm saying is, it's relevant insofar as if you are able to prove that a 4-person 4-pack is justified, then the proposition is true, right? And then you're able to show that. If the opposite isn't the case, that's all I mean. It's a subset of potential plans, but showing that it's not justified doesn't, defeat the doesn't prove that it's false.
Now, Ryan's preparation for the debate was merely the agreed upon topic there, right? Ryan's not obligated to say what is your specific version of how to meet that. He's just, through norms, obligated to debate that specific topic, correct?
Well, I don't know if we agree on that, because I'm not sure that you agree with that.
Wait.
On norms. You just said, you just asked, for my norm, certainly, I think he's...
So, your norm, we're talking about your norm.
Not on your norm.
No.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. On my norm, yes, not yours. Not yours. Mine, not yours.
So when Ryan's arguments, almost the entirety of the debate, were about the damages of packing the actual plan that's being suggested of 4 people and how damaging that was that on topic?
I think the damage, like the potential consequences, are on topic for sure. But he's not showing why we should expect that those things are likely to occur. He's not increasing or decreasing. He's not decreasing the credence level in one of my premises, right? I'm the one who's offering this this argument, and he's just saying that he's claiming that these things will occur. All these negative consequences will occur, but he's not providing justification for that claim.
I totally disagree. I think that this is doing two things. I think the fact that he's exhibiting, showing negatives, are getting to justifying his position and showing how bad it will be, and showing your position as how bad. Both of that is justifying his negatives and his positive. So when we talk about, let me finish. Of course, just let me finish. In the first premise, when we were talking about farting, this, that, and the other, I'm arguing against that premise, but what I'm saying the whole time is, Ryan, although he may not have been addressing the specific plan that you were outlining, was addressing specific plans that are the most common, that are discussed, and what you really believe. And I think,
yeah, he could do that. He could be totally successful at that, and he could prove his case beautifully, and it wouldn't make it so that he's correct.
Can I finish? And I promise. Yeah. Remember when I said put that in your back pocket, right? That it's not like that. It's not as structured as other forms of debate. I think that it is entirely reasonable when debating a prompt to be debating the actual beliefs and practical application of the position in power that want to affect it and the person you're debating.
That's P1. That's P1. That's P1. We're done with P1.
No. I think that that's entirely reasonable to do. I think that that is still on topic. That the topic could easily be read. And let me give you an example why. Let's say that me and you start arguing online, right? And we're talking about the, what the hell do you call it with Trump? The fund that he has. What's the word?
Yeah, the anti-weaponization.
Yeah, the anti-weaponization fund. And let's say I'm like, hey, like, this is a good thing. And you're like, this is fucking corrupt. It's ridiculous. You want to debate about it, Rob? I said, sure, let's debate. Here's the prompt. Trump should have a fund for anti-weaponization. You're like, sure, I agree with that prompt, right? And so you stand up and you're like, this fund is dog shit. It's corrupt. It's going to get billions of dollars. And I say, no. The prompt just said Trump should have a fund. And my plan is just $1. Trump should have a fund for $1. Would you then have to say, well, we shouldn't talk about the actual plan or what Rob actually believes. Instead, let's just debate the vote.
I can clarify that.
Rob, that's ridiculous. We should
Let me address
what
it.
you actually believe.
You know, so there, right, the potential equivocation is on the meaning of the prompt, okay? Is what the prompt means, right? So if you are referring to, you know, the anti-weaponization funds, you're, by definition, not referring to the hypothetical non-existent 0.00001 whatever cent plan that you've just devised, right? So there it's the clarifications on what the prompt there is just like what's the best interpretation of this proposition, right? That's a semantic question, how to interpret the proposition.
Exactly, that's my argument. Is the funding effect right now?
Not right now. No, but it's a plan that was attempted to be implemented and that actually is referring to a specific thing. Yeah.
Right. It's like Rocon's plan, just like yours.
Yeah, no, but no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
Who suggested? Who's outlined the plan to? Who in
No.
the real world has outlined the plan to attack the one? Who's done that?
Yeah.
Show me the Democratic
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's a specific person who has done that. But there wouldn't need to be for that to be the best reading of the proposition.
Now there is. But again, see, what we get is the best.
Can you answer the question, Rob?
I get you. I'll answer, but like consistently. I can't just say this going. Well, that's what we get. The electricity.
Okay, Rob. So here's there doesn't need to be a specific plan, right, for the best or a proposed plan for the best interpretation or a reasonable interpretation of the prompt to be X or Y. All right. So I wouldn't need to show you an actual Democratic politician who's proposed a certain thing for the semantic understanding of that proposition to be best read to be one thing, not the other.
When I read that, my interpretation of it is the actual practical plans the Democrats are going to be suggesting, or possibly the actual practical plan that's being suggested by the person in the debate. Both of those, I think that's the best. Let me finish. I think that's the best reading. Just like you would think so about Trump's weaponization fund, you think the exact same thing. right? The exact reason that you have that, yes, Rob, I would reject if the topic should be about your plan to just have a fun for $1 is the exact same reason that I think it's totally grounds for Ryan to say the same about your plan. It's not what you really do. And let me, real quick, so what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, at best you could have you just have a subjective disagreement on, quote, the best reading of the topic, but you've already conceded that Ryan's arguments are germane to the topic.
Yeah. So,
now it's just, are they the best germane?
So no, stop.
Yes.
There's been absolutely zero concession. So for him, right, if he's able to prove that a 4-person court pack is not justified, then he hasn't proved his options much, right?
I believe that let me finish. If his reason for what you really believe in what Democrats really believe, then no, I think it's reading the proposition. And this is buttressed by the fact that your actual conversations before the debate with them.
Let's just try to stay focused, okay? So
I'm very focused.
Okay, so with respect to the best reading or the good reading or reasonable reading of the debate proposition, okay,
Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's always him. He's always got his lap. You're always a medical. Come on, too. So, in terms of semantic reading of the proposition and what the actual the meaning of those terms are, we can quibble about that, and I want to quibble about that. But even if I thought that the best reading of the prompt were Rokana's plan, he didn't justify that position either, okay? And he didn't, undermine my argument with respect to, a hypothetical prompt that wasn't actually the prompt. So even if it were the case that the best reading were a 13-person court expansion, I would not, he didn't argue that case either. He didn't provide justification for his views. But on the actual reading of it, yeah, no.
Can we stop there? Do you mind if we stop there and address that? Do you mind if I do that? Okay. The reason for that is because you spent half of the debate doing a meta conversation. He gave you every out. Now I remind you, your conversation before the debate was originally you wanted the prompt to be they should add 1 seat. Ryan rejected it. And he said you take the prompt as ever you want. That was a clear sign that Ryan wasn't making this prompt to mean just 1 seat. Now you might disagree with what he thought the best reading of the prompt was, but it's certainly germane, and all the arguments you made would be encompassed by the prompt. They have not be totally defeating of what you think your plan is, which is encompassed by the prompt. And furthermore, we can see that because you, when he asked, hey, as long as you say we're not talking about Rokana's plan, I will happily debate you on whether or not we should add 1 seat. You were unwilling to do that. Yeah. So that means that that means that the reason that both of you did a poor job arguing your case was because you only had 30 minutes because you spent 30 minutes on the meta of what was the best reading of the prompt.
So just to be 100% clear, first let's talk about Ryan's mental state, okay? Ryan, if he really thought that the meaning of the proposition was the one that you're suggesting, he would have said, this is the prompt. That's not what he said.
He did it.
What he said, no, what he said was, fuck the proposition, fuck the prompt, I don't want to know about the prompt. Later on, by the way, in comments, and in different replies, Ryan is saying, yeah, he specifically chose this prompt to hide it, even though he drafted the wording of the prompt. Just to be clear, he drafted the wording of the prompt. And he rejected going to the prompt. If he felt, like you said, that the best reading of the prompt were Rokana's plan, he would have said so, and he didn't.
No, he did at one point later in the debate. But the point is, try to bring it up.
No, he didn't.
Find the transcript. Nonetheless, the point is, I fully concede that it was stupid of Ryan and a bad debate strategy to say, I don't give a shit about the prompt, sure, whatever, I'll fucking concede. The point that he's trying to make isn't that what he's arguing isn't germane to the prompt. He's saying that there are more important things than your narrowly tailored, disingenuous attempt to get your foot in the door.
That's P1.
You might say it's P1, but that's his belief. And so what he's saying is, I want to talk about...
Wait, this is really important to pause. It's really important to pause, because all that stuff isn't even related to his version of the Rokana plan, right? The stuff about my character, the stuff about that I want to, ensconce control or whatever he was saying about my other views on Puerto Rico. So even on the reading where you're the best interpretation of the prompt is the Rokana plan, it's still not germane.
No, because he gets into the meta of the prompt that you refuse to engage in the prompt as he sees it. And so he's explaining why in that meta you're refusing to do that, because you have this other plan of obfuscation of actually what you really believe. And so the debate becomes the meta about the prompt because you won't argue what he thinks is the best reading of the prompt. In his frustration,
That's
which
not
he
what he
totally,
said, Rob.
let me finish. In his frustration, when he was saying he gives less a shit about the prompt than he does actually arguing good faith what people really believe in their plans, he says, I don't give a fuck about the prompt, sure, I'll concede, because what he's interested in doing is having a good faith conversation about what you two actually believe. Not just
Then why did
trying
he admit to
let me
lying,
finish.
Rob?
Not just, let me finish. Not just some gamesmanship. Oh, I'm going to argue something I don't really believe, so it's narrowly tailored as possible to win this one debate on
Rob.
modern day debate.
You understand in the debate he admitted to luring me in there and lying about and skewing our agreement. Why would he make these concessions, these admissions that, yeah, I don't give a shit about our agreement, that I've only brought you on here to expose you? Those are his statements, and you're here like preposterously arguing that this was just a good faith disagreement about the meaning of the prop. He's admitting to lying, Rob.
No.
He's admitting to luring me to expose me. How can you interpret it the way that you are?
It's not, again, I don't know that what the exact point of what he said he was lying. I think it's clear by the thrust of what he's showing is that he gave you the opportunity to have this good faith discussion. If it was really just, if it was really just a plot to just lie and talk about nothing that was totally relevant, why did he give you the option to say, of course, let's do the 4-person pact? You don't think that he, I'm sorry, of course, I concede that the 4-person pact is bad. Of course I concede that. You don't think that he would have legitimately said, excellent, let's talk about the 1-person pact?
I mean, I'm not sure, but he knows that I support. But no, because he knows that I don't condemn that plan, right? Because I even typed it in response to the comment thread, right, where we're initially laying out the topic, which, by the way, those communications totally support me, and we can get into that. But like he even said, he knew what my position was, and so this is preposterous. But no, I'm telling you what he said, right? He said his whole goal was not to win the debate. His whole goal was to expose me and to bring me on under false pretenses. He admitted to doing that.
No. Like the false pretense, I'd like to see the exact quote. What I'm saying is that he knew that you wouldn't debate. The false pretense is this. It's self-defense. It's reciprocal. Maybe those are terms you know about, right? Because he knows that you're not going to actually argue the plan that you really believe. And so he's like, I want to argue what you really believe. So he set a prompt that technically meant that he would be justified. If the prompt was the original prompt, then all of his arguments would not have been germane. So he intentionally asked for a change of the prompt and told you, you take it how you want, knowing that he didn't give a fuck if you were going to argue only one person. He was going to argue against what you really believe. If you acknowledge, actually, I don't believe that, and I condemn it, then he would have argued your interpretation of the prompt. It sounds like sour grapes for the man who got beaten in a debate.
No, wait, no. So, I mean, no, that's not at all what's going on here. Are you acknowledging, sorry, do you have a position on whether he was luring me onto the show under false pretenses or not?
No, I don't think he did lure you under false pretenses. Again, I think in the heat of the moment he said some dumb shit, but I don't think it's false pretenses.
If he did, would it change your mind? If I provide you a quote,
it depends on what.
With dishonest intentions not to argue a specific proposition, which again would be, so you're saying that he is interpreting the proposition one way. That's explaining why he's doing the things he's doing, and I'm saying that's not the best read on Ryan's point of view, because he's no. But I'm asking you, if you were convinced that he was lying and that he was trying to lure me under false pretenses, then would you be convinced actually that isn't explaining what's going on here, is a difference in the semantic interpretation, that he was that's not what's explaining what's going on? If I convince you,
I'll answer this with caveat.